Today, what we're learning today. Oh, yeah. What feels like I'm a little laggy. I don't know if that's Canva or just my camera. One of the two things. I think we're better now. All right. What I was saying was, I was like very jarring. Let me start presenting really quickly. And I do hope there are no animations today. All right, there we go. That's much better. Let me move this on the side. Cool. We're at 8:04. So let's kick things off with understanding what is a decentralized exchange or decentralized exchanges 101. What I was saying right before this was, what we're learning today is, almost exactly how a lot of big apps in Solana make money. If you've ever seen wallets, that includes Phantom Backpack. This is their, majority source of income. Backpack became an exchange eventually. Phantom is trying 10 different things. But even today, at least for Phantom, Phantom probably sells data and makes money. But one of the biggest lever, at least during a bull, like that, the thing that probably got them a $1 billion valuation was how they made money. And, they make money via swap fees. And it's so easy to implement swap fees in, any application. The same is true for something like BonkBot. If you've heard of BonkBot, which is, a Telegram based bot, under the hood, it is still using, Jupyter APIs, or it might directly be using some of these APIs like Orca, Radium, Meteora. But long story short, if you have a lot of eyeballs in crypto, you monetize it through swap fees. That is what wallets do. That is what Telegram bots do. Today, we will understand how that has happened. Now, there are two parts to this. One is, how does a decentralized swap work under the hood? How is it different from a centralized swap? So, the first 1 hour is going to have a lot of, I wouldn't call it extra knowledge, finance knowledge needed to understand decentralized exchanges. And then the last 30 minutes probably is going to be implementation. And implementation you probably should understand like this, because we'll use Jupyter, very similar to Phantom and Backpack. And I'm not sure if BonkBot, so I don't want to say, but there is another bot that also does decent volume. One of our students is hired there. They don't use Jupyter, they directly use Radium. But long story short, all of these exchanges are what are used to make money by very big applications on Solana. Let's kick things off. What is a DEX? What is a decentralized exchange? Two parts to this word, a decentralized and exchange. A DEX is a cryptocurrency trading platform that operates without a central authority, allowing users to trade assets directly with one another. Allowing users to trade assets directly with one another. Notice there is a big difference between Zerodha, Binance, and what we are learning today. A DEX lets users sort of swap assets. If I have 100 USDC and I want to buy 0.9 Solana, I'm sort of taking it from another person and giving them my 100 USDC if I am using a decentralized exchange. What is a good example of this swap functionality? What is a good functionality of us using a decentralized exchange? It's a wallet like this. If you've ever tried to use Phantom, which I hope some of you have tried by now, this interface has a bunch of things. One of those sections is this swap section. What do you see over here? This section is the swap section, or even, if you click on this button right here, when you click on this button, you will see a screen like this that lets you swap some, let's say Solana for some USDC, or vice versa. If you want, you can select USDC over here and convert it into Solana. If you want, you can select Solana over here, convert it into some Dogecoin, not Dogecoin, but some meme coin, bonk coin. So it lets you swap from one asset to another. I hope some of you already know I can't convert Solana to Ethereum here directly. I cannot convert from assets from one blockchain to another blockchain. Right now, we are learning only about the Solana blockchain. So we are trying to understand how do you swap assets on the Solana blockchain. I select the amount of Solana I want to sell, and in return, it tells me I have this much USDC that I will make. The provider over here is what is a decentralized exchange. Phantom has not built a decentralized exchange. Neither has Backpack, neither has BonkBot. They don't deal with this problem. Phantom is a wallet. It is a consumer facing application. Their marketing team focuses on getting most users. But they know swapping is a very common functionality. Whenever there is a bull run, whenever there is hype, people want to buy, that doggy coin or whatever meme coin quickly. So they will quickly come to this interface and try to sell their Solana for that doggy coin. And in the middle, they make money here. Whenever you swap 0.01 Sol for, let's say, USDC, In the middle, 1% is actually taken by Phantom. And if you go to the review order screen, you will actually see that it clearly says that Phantom is taking 1%. We'll discuss later how this is, so weird. Like a user like me could directly have gone to a DEX. I could have gone to Radium, Meteora, and Orca and swapped my asset. But people don't go to these exchanges. People want कि मेरे wallet में ही swap कर दो, and they end up losing some money. If I did the same swap directly on an exchange, I will show how to do that. Then I would have made a little bit more money. 1% I wouldn't have to give to Phantom. This is the provider, which in this case it says Radium CLMM. What is a CLMM? In the last slide I've mentioned, this is where most of your orders will get matched these days, not into an AMM, an automated market maker. But what are these terms? We'll discuss eventually. I'm going back or what? All right. This is a DEX. Phantom uses another DEX under the hood. Phantom has not built a DEX on their own. If I try after 5 minutes, then you will see it got replaced by a different DEX. Phantom, or more specifically Jupiter, but chalo for now let's say Phantom, will make sure कि जहाँ पे भी best price मिल रहा है ना, wherever I am getting the best price, I will choose that provider so that my end user gets the best price for their Solana. So one decentralized exchange, you might be getting it for 1.35. Other, you might be getting 1.34, 1.33. So it lets you get the best price over here. DEX and SEX are very different. Decentralized exchanges and centralized exchanges are significantly different, and you should understand this difference. Let's see how many of you already know. Let's do a quick poll. Do you already understand the difference between the thing on the left and the thing on the right? Apps like Uniswap, if you've been on Ethereum, and Binance, CoinDCX, do we understand this difference already? Okay, 50% do, 50% don't. That is fine. Long story short, there is a very big difference. Most of the times, if someone is building a centralized exchange, they will not touch this territory. They will stay away from it. They will not open another company here. If someone is opening a DEX, they will not touch this category of exchanges, because this is a highly regulated exchange. इसके पीछे government होती है. The government asks you to do KYC. If you've ever signed up on Binance, you have to first KYC, put your Aadhaar number. Only then can you buy assets. Versus a decentralized exchange, as the name suggests, decentralized. You have the private key of your wallet. No one can censor/take your assets away from you. You don't have to KYC. You have to do private key management yourself. This is actually a downside, the third point here. But long story short, if you have something like Phantom, if you have a wallet like this, then whenever you swap from one asset to another, you are using a decentralized exchange. You are not using a centralized exchange, because you could be a totally anonymous person. In this Phantom wallet, when you created it, did you put your KYC in there? No, because this is a decentralized wallet. You just need your private key. As long as you have your private key, you have your assets, but you have to do private key management yourself. You have to back up this private key in some secure place. If you don't do that, then of course all of your assets are gone. So that is the downside of a DEX. A centralized exchange mein, you delegate your assets to a central entity. If some of you unfortunately lost money in the WazirX hack, what happened there? Or FTX, let's say. What happened there was FTX and WazirX were acting like banks. You were telling them, please buy some Solana for me and keep it. So your Solana and Ethereum were held by CoinDCX. Whenever the hack happened, even though you did nothing wrong, the whatever founding team or whatever of WazirX did, you ended up losing money because you did not own your own assets. You did not own your own private key. If you remember the WazirX hack, what happened there? It was sort of a private key, not exactly a private key hack, but I have a video on this. What happened was they had a multi-sig. Harkirat, what is a multi-sig? Don't worry about. But basically, they did not manage this private key very well, basically. So what ended up happening is they lost money, and you as a user ended up losing money. Of course, they lost nothing. End users ended up losing money because you don't have access to private key. Why is this good? This is good because you don't have to manage private keys. You just go here, sign up with email and password. You see your assets there. Government can censor you. You have to KYC. This part is super important. If you ever have a hacker that, let's say hacks your website and asks for money in crypto, this has happened to me once. There was this person who hacked a friend's website, took down their database and asked for money in return. They asked it on crypto. He asked it on Monero. If you've heard of the Monero blockchain, which is an anonymous blockchain, you can't track people. We said we don't have Monero, so we transferred him money on the Solana blockchain. I transferred him, let's say $7,500, and he pulled that out into Binance immediately. Usne kya kiya? I sent money to his private key, to his wallet. He started to see $7,500 in his Phantom right here, but he transferred this money over to his Binance account. Now, if we had the muscle for it and the time for it, we could have approached Binance and asked, "Kaun hai ye banda batao? Who is this person? He is KYC'd on your application, and he just transferred our money that we sent to him. Who is this hacker?" So that is the downside of a centralized exchange. You can get censored. Binance can block your money. Once my money got blocked, I pulled it out to an address that was anonymizing transactions. They ended up blocking me. After 1 month, they released me. Then they said go. I had to pretty much they banned me from Binance basically. So this happens in centralized exchanges, does not happen in decentralized exchanges. Before we understand how a DEX works, we need to understand how a centralized exchange works. This video covers it fairly well. It is not too difficult to build a centralized exchange, but if you want to build one that is extremely fast, then it's a whole different ball game. And then of course you have to understand some algorithms, how to store data, things like these. We have covered this in cohort 2 in fair detail. So this video also covers order books, but how to do it in a centralized exchange. And cohort 2 we did something similar for a decentralized exchange. A centralized exchange but on crypto. This one also covers similar only, centralized exchange on crypto. So if you want to understand what we are learning today in a little more depth, this is a pretty good video for it. All right. Centralized exchange jargon. We can actually skip through this, but the reason we want to understand how Binance works is because if you understand this, you will understand how difficult of a problem is it to create a decentralized exchange. Centralized exchanges, building them is not hard. Building one that is extremely fast is a little hard, but centralized exchanges have very different challenges from a decentralized exchange. So what are these challenges? Let's try to understand. Before we understand how a centralized exchange works, we need to understand all of this, jargon that you see on the left. What is a centralized exchange? As I said, Binance is a centralized exchange. If you ever go to Binance.com, sign up, or look at all the markets over here. For example, BTC, Ethereum, USDT, Solana. If you open one of these markets, you see a very complicated UI that looks like this. And every centralized exchange, you will see the same thing. If you open backpack.exchange and let's say open Solana over here, then you will see some very similar UI here and here. There is one graph that is showing you how the price is going up and down. There is one graph that is showing me how the price is going up and down. There is something called the book over here, which is some very complicated thing. I see something similar over here that looks like the order book. What does it say over here? It says the order book. It shows me a bunch of trades that are currently happening in real time. Someone bought 139.31 USDC at this price, 0.01 SOL at this specific time. I can see the existing set of trades, and I can also trade myself. I can convert my USDC into Solana. But when I'm doing it here, I'm doing it on a centralized exchange. When I'm doing it here, I'm doing it on a centralized exchange. If I open Phantom and click on swap, then I'm doing the same thing, but on a decentralized exchange. Here, my assets are with me. If I leave the country today, as long as I have my private key, I will be able to recover my assets. If I leave the country today, or I am claimed as a bad person in India, then Binance will block me and Backpack will block me because they have to comply to the rules of the government. Cool. Let's understand how does a centralized exchange work under the hood. Let's do a quick poll and see how many of you already know this. All this jargon on screen. How many people already know this? It'll give you a brief idea of the audience today. While the poll is happening, let me also kick things off. The first jargon we need to understand is order books. Okay, most people don't know this. 30% still do, which is pretty good. 35, almost 40% only. Great. So a centralized exchange at its core has something called an order book, which is a very complicated concept. But if you understand it from first principles, you will understand it like this. An order book is a digital list that displays all the buy and sell orders placed by traders for a particular asset, such as cryptocurrencies or stocks. Order books exist on Zerodha as well. Order books exist on Binance as well. They exist on stock-based exchanges. They exist on centralized exchanges on crypto. Read this one more time, then we'll come back to this definition. An order book is a digital list that displays all the buy orders and the sell orders. What are buy orders and sell orders placed by traders? Let's try to understand that by an example. Let's say today, this is my society and I want to buy a house. This is not my society, but looks very similar to it. If I want to buy a house in this society, what will I do? I will go to a broker. Who will I go to? A broker. And I will tell the broker, hey, are people willing to sell a house? And the broker will be like, yes, sir. This house is available for 42 lakhs. This house is available for 43 lakhs. This house is available for 44 lakhs. Does this look like a book? What is the broker doing? The broker is maintaining a book of open orders. Open orders means कि यार someone is willing, उसने almost कह ही दिया है, almost 99% sure this owner is going to sell this property for 44 lakhs. This owner is willing to sell this property for 43 lakhs, so on and so forth. This is the sell side. What does this owner have? He has a house. What does the owner want? The owner wants some money, 42 lakhs. This is what's called the quote side. This, what is it called? The quote side. No, this is called the ask. Sorry, my bad. What is this called? This is called the ask. Okay, this owner is asking for 42 lakhs, 43 lakhs, 44 lakhs. Of course, which one would you buy? You will buy the 42 lakh one, the cheapest one. You might say, this one has a better balcony. Ignore that. Assume all the houses are the same. Just like all the stocks are the same. If I have one Solana and you have one Solana, they have equal value. If I have one Google stock, you have one Google stock, they have equal value. Similarly, this house and this house, assume they have the same value, no change, no difference at all. Then of course it makes sense to buy this specific house. It's the cheapest price. And similarly, on the other side, can you see there are people who are bidding for houses? Okay, hey, I am willing to buy a house for 41 lakhs. There's this other person that is saying I'm willing to buy it for 40 lakhs, 39.9 lakhs, so on and so forth. They are bidding for houses, but none of them have matched the best price here. What is the best price here? 42 lakhs. This is exactly how stocks are bought and sold in the open market as well. Just like you buy or sell a house. You go to a broker, broker has a book of orders, who are willing to sell for how much, who are willing to buy for how much. As soon as the broker sees a match can be made, either this person goes to 41 lakhs, this person goes to 42 lakhs, or a third person comes, a new person comes and says, मैं तो ले जाऊंगा 42 lakhs में, takes away this order for 42 lakhs. That is how swaps happen in the real world, specifically swaps for houses. And similarly, if you look at this order book on the Solana, on, let's say Backpack or even on Binance, you will see something like this. There are a few people or one person, we don't know, who are willing to sell 21.71 Solana. What is this? This is the size. कि कितना Solana बेचना चाह रहे हैं. 21 Solana can be bought at 136.89 at this specific price. 37.42 Solana can be bought at 136.90. As you can see, थोड़ा ज़्यादा. It is going up by a bit. Isn't this the same as what was happening here? This person was willing to sell at 42, then 43, then 44. This person is willing to sell at 136.89, 90, 91, 93, so on and so forth. So this is the ask side of the order book. And this is the bid side. Someone is saying, I will buy 5 Solana or 5.41 Solana for 136.88. These are open orders. They haven't been placed. अभी तक इनमें से कोई order place नहीं हुआ है. A new person can come and, buy 21.75 Solana by paying 21.75 into this, or a new person can come and sell Solana for 136.88 into, let's say, 5.41 if they can sell 5 Solana or 5.41 Solana. So this is how a centralized exchange works. There is an open order book. Either these traders only are like, yaar chalo main le hi leta hu. They cancel this order and match against this order. Or this person says, yaar theek hai, I will sell for a little bit lesser. This person cancels this order, matches the order over here, or a third party comes and, ends up eating the order book. This is the bid side, similar to the houses over here. This is the ask side, similar to the houses over here. These people have cash, want to buy a house. These people have USDC, want to buy Solana. These people have a house, want to get back cash. These people have Solana, want to get back INR. That is what an order book is. Let's do a quick poll. Do we understand what an order book is and how it is, how does it look at the very least? You can very well look at it on Binance or Backpack. webpack.app. All right, 85% understands it. Let me finish the whole section on centralized exchanges, and then I will do a quick, what do you call it, doubt session. But if you look at it, can you see this order book is constantly changing? I'm sure some of you have this question. What is total over here, Kirat? It's just the total amount, right? Okay. Up until this point, you can buy. Up until this point, you can buy 21.75 Solana. Up until this point, you can buy 21 plus 50, 37, which is 59. Up until this point, you can buy 21 plus 37 plus 200, so on and so forth. That is what this third category over here is. And what I was showing was the price of an asset is constantly changing. The price of Solana is changing constantly. There are traders, or more technically what are called market makers. What are they called? Market makers, that are constantly placing orders, cancelling orders, placing orders, cancelling orders, which is why this order book is highly dynamic. Just because this order book is changing so quickly does not mean trades are also happening this quickly. Trades, agar tum dekho, there aren't too many trades. It's not like every millisecond a trade is happening. This happened at 2026.03. This happened at 2026.05. Now it happened after, 29 seconds or whatever. 25 seconds over here. So the book is changing constantly. What you can buy for is changing constantly. But that doesn't mean people are actually buying. But if I go over here and place an order, then of course a trade will happen. If I literally go over here and let's say I want to buy Solana for 100 USDC or 1000 USDC, it tells me कि आपको 1000 USDC पे लेना है तो आपको 7 Solana मिल जाएगा मोटा मोटा. You will be able to get 7 Solana for 999.13 USDC. If I click on trade, then it will end up eating a bunch of orders from here. It will end up taking my 999 USDC, giving it to these people, taking their Solana, giving it to me. That is how a centralized exchange works. There are a few more jargons which are much simpler to understand compared to what we had seen until now. The first one is a bid, which I already told. Any order that is placed on the order book that wants to buy the asset is bidding, and hence that is called a bid. So all the orders that you see over here are called bids, and all the orders that you see over here are called ask. Now, one thing to reiterate, if it says 21.75 here, it doesn't mean a single person who has Solana has put this order. There might be two people. One person might be like, I'm going to sell 1.75 Solana. मेरे पास तो इतना ही है. I only have 1.75 Solana. I will sell it at this price. Another person might be like, I have 20 Solana. I will also, sell it at this price. Which one of those orders gets matched is a whole different question. Okay, if an order comes right now, will it go to user 1 or will it go to user 2? There are like a bunch of algorithms that you use to decide which user to pay over here. But just because it says 21.75 here doesn't mean a single user owns all 21.75. There could be 10 users who are willing to sell their houses here. Similar to how there might be 10 users who might be willing to sell it at 42 lakhs, right? All right, we understand bids. We understand asks. Ask is whenever someone is willing to sell, how much are they willing to, what is their ask? कि मुझे 42 lakh चाहिए. I want 42 lakhs in return of this. I am asking for 42 lakhs. That is why it is an ask. On the order book, it is this red thingy over here. The spread. Can you guess what is the spread? Let's go back an example. This one. The spread over here is 1 lakhs. What does that mean? It means that the best ask is 42 lakhs. The best bid is 41 lakhs. They are very far. आज तो business नहीं हो पाएगा. Today though we won't be able to sell a house because the spread is very big. Most probably this party won't go up by 1 lakhs. This party won't go down by 1 lakhs. So the spread is really high. But tomorrow this person might desperately need money, or this person might be like, yaar, I want to sell. I want to get ahead of this person. So this person might cancel this order and place another order for 41.5 lakhs. Then the spread becomes smaller. Spread becomes 50,000. The smaller the spread, the higher the probability of orders happening. If the spread is really small, let's say this person is willing to sell at 41.99 lakhs, willing to sell at 42 lakhs, willing to buy at 41.99 lakhs. 1000 रुपए के पीछे को थोड़ी पीछे हटेगा. For $1,000, one of these sides will cave in. The order will happen. So Similarly, the spread over here is what is the difference between this and this, which in this case is 0.01, which is very good. If you ever saw WazirX, the spread on WazirX was really high because WazirX was not a very liquid cryptocurrency exchange. What do I mean by liquid? मतलब उनके पास अच्छे market makers नहीं थे. They did not have good market makers that were keeping the order book very liquid, that were decreasing the spread by a lot. They had, let's say whatever bad market makers or market makers who did not have a lot of money or 10 different things, weren't competing each other very well. What I mean by competing is कि the reason the spread is so low here is क्योंकि एक बड़ा market maker आता है. One big market maker comes and says कि यार अच्छा ये this is a new exchange called Backpack. Let's just put a very bad price here, 137.0. Then another very big market maker comes, let's say Wintermute, and they say नहीं इससे ऊपर करो 137.01, 137.02. So when market makers begin to compete with each other is when the spread becomes really tight. The tighter the spread, the more liquid your exchange, the more people would want to buy on your exchange because you will have the best price on the exchange. If this spread was 10, let's say, then if you want to buy, you have to pay whatever, let's say 140. If you want to sell, you will only get 130. So no user would want to swap on this specific platform. Liquidity is very synonymous to spread, or not synonymous, but spread is this. What is the difference? Liquidity is कि यार अगर कोई बड़ा बंदा आ गया, if one big person comes and places an order for buying 20,000 SOL, which is a lot of money, $2-3 million, then they will end up eating this whole market book, order book. They will end up taking this also, this also, this also, this also, this also, this also. They will eat up all of these orders. The price of Solana will spike on this exchange because a whale came and ate up the order book. But if this was a highly liquid order book, if there was 1,000 SOL at this price only and another 1,000 SOL at this price, then that whale wouldn't have been able to do much. So what does liquidity mean? What does it mean that this crypto exchange is highly liquid? It means that if you place a very big order, the price doesn't go up by too much. When will the price not go up by too much? If whenever you are placing the order, the order book doesn't get eaten by a lot, you don't end up eating a lot of orders. Or if you, let's say, end up eating a lot of orders, almost immediately the market makers come and, fill them up. So that is just another jargon, liquidity. The same comes in decentralized exchanges as well. How can you make your crypto exchange more liquid? You can ask market makers, beg them, कि please हमारे exchange पे आओ. We have, very dumb retail players, and if you come to our exchange, they won't care about the price. You can put whatever price you want, and then a market maker would want to come and make your order book liquid. Most of the times, when you place an order on an exchange, you are not putting your order on the order book. You are just saying, give me 10,000 stocks of Tata, and paying, let's say, 1 lakh rupees. You are eating up someone else's order. The person that you're buying from is the market maker, and they are usually the ones who make money. How do they make money? Whole different ball game. We'll understand today how market makers make money in a decentralized exchange, but a centralized exchange is very similar. Last term is market makers, which are various entities, usually very big hedge funds, trading companies, Citadel, Tower Research, not Tower Research probably. They're probably not a market maker, maybe are. But Wintermute, Jump, these are very rich companies. How are they rich? Because they're making, all of these order books all across various exchanges extremely liquid. And, they have these mathematical folks that are paid $500,000 to $1 million because they're running these algorithms and figuring out, okay, what is the current price of Solana. Based on that, these orders are getting placed. So who are these people? Usually they are market makers. Can you be one? You can be one, but, you will not be able to outcompete them. And they will almost always be sitting here and here. Most probably the most best ask and the best bid will be by a market maker. And if you try to match it or try to get close to it, they might eat up your order. Yaar, ye to bahut acha price de raha hai, because they know the exact price, or that's what they're doing. What the quants there are doing all day is trying to figure out what is the perfect price of Solana right now. And if they find that out, they can place an order a little bit above and a little bit below, and just hope that the market, ends up eating those orders. These are what are called market makers. In a decentralized exchange, in a centralized exchange, being a market maker is really hard. There are very big companies, as I said, that, are probably, 99% of doing 99% of market making. Maybe some small company fund does the rest of it. But these corporates are the ones that usually trade because they have a lot of, smart people and have figured out how to write low latency code to make sure their order gets placed first. In a decentralized exchange though, it's very different. So DEX versus a centralized exchange. How does a DEX work? Do you think it works similarly? It could, right? Until now, we have written smart contracts, or we have not written smart contracts. We understood accounts model on Solana, PDAs, program derived addresses. So you know you can write some code on Solana. So why not write an order book on Solana? Well, let me tell you, there was an order book on Solana. People have tried this, and you know, it became pretty big during the bull as well. FTX only funded it. It was called Serum. But they don't find product market fit. They don't find PMF. You can still create an order book on Solana. And you know, this was the initial pitch. That Solana will be the fastest blockchain. So, you know, you can make an order book on Solana. But realistically, you know, there are other algorithms, better algorithms that let you trade assets or swap assets on Solana. We will understand what those algorithms are very soon. But do you think that a DEX works the same way, or can they work the same way? Notice the speed at which the order book changes at backpack.exchange/trade/sol USDC. If you open this market, did you remember how quickly the order book was changing? Can you change the order book that quickly on a decentralized exchange, on the blockchain? No. If you've ever tried swapping, if you ever tried sending money to your friend, have you seen the confirmations screen over here? It takes like 5-6 seconds sometimes to confirm your order has been placed. It's not like a Web2 backend, जो आपको immediately बता देगा within 0.1 milliseconds whether or not your order was placed. Hence, a decentralized exchange cannot use an order book. Too many transactions are happening at the same time. Blockchains are too slow for them. You cannot use a blockchain or you know an order book like this on any blockchain today. Can that change? It may change, but you know, as I said, a lot of people build this like a very hot project. Out of Serum, someone else also created something called OpenBook, if you've heard of it. That guy used to work on Solana only. But most of the orders that are placed today are placed on, you know, some more conventional blockchain algorithms. Let's understand one such conventional algorithm called constant product algorithm and what are automated market makers. Before that, can we quickly do a poll and see, did people understand centralized exchanges? Do you understand centralized exchanges? If 90% say yes, then I will proceed. If it's less, then I'll take some doubts. Okay, we did not, which is totally fine. Before we move on to a DEX, let's understand what a centralized exchange is. 75% have raised their hands. So I'm going to open Q&A and try to answer questions for the next 5 to 10 minutes. If you understood everything, you can, you know, take a break as well. All right. 1 second. Where is Q&A? There we go. Market maker and spread, someone said. Yes. If you go to backpack.exchange, very practical example, or if you go to Binance, the place where we were at. If you ever tried to buy crypto, can you see कितनी simple सी screen देते हैं तुम्हें ये लोग? They say how much INR you want to put. Let's say you say 100. How much Bitcoin do you want to buy? It will tell you that you will receive 0.01 Bitcoin. They hide all the complexity of how a swap is happening from you. What is that complexity? जैसे I put 10,000 here. It said आपको इसके बदले में इतना Bitcoin मिल जाएगा. You will get X Bitcoin. It is not showing me right now. It is not showing me a quote. But assuming it said here 0.1 Bitcoin you will get. How is that happening under the hood? Does it have a database where it has put कि यार इतने के बदले में इतना मिलेगा? No. Exchanges never hold any assets. They hold assets. They don't do any trading. Exchange कभी भी market maker नहीं बनेगा. An exchange would never be a market maker. They are just a platform where market makers come on one side, users like you and I come on the other side, and they facilitate a trade over here. क्या अच्छा तुम्हें कुछ चाहिए ये लो, market maker इन्हें दे दो. That is what they do. Question is how do they do it? This is one side. This is the user. Dumb people like us, because we are like हाँ ये पता नहीं समझ नहीं आ रहा क्या प्राइस है बिटकॉइन का, चलो जो भी हो, Bitcoin is increasing, let me buy. You come here, you click on this button. What happens is, under the hood, this order gets matched to a market maker. Let me show you that. I said I want to buy 10,000 10,000 rupees worth of Bitcoin. So what happens is, under the hood there is a, now this is very nuanced for INR. So let's not do INR. Let's do USDT. They only let you convert fiat over here. But let's say it was USDT over here and Bitcoin over here. And you said, I want to spend 10,000 USDT. तो वो क्या करता? It would have gone to this order book. कि यार ये BTC USDT order book कहाँ है? ये रही. It would have, can you see the URL? It says trade BTC USDT. Here he would have gone and said कि यार Bitcoin कितने का बिक रहा है? अच्छा, someone is selling 1.33 Bitcoin for this price, or it is changing very quickly, so it's very hard for me to say, but you can say, right, 1.3 can be bought for this price, this much can be bought for this price. So the quote that you see over here is nothing but an order that is placed by the other side. ये orders कौन place कर रहा है? Order book पे कौन रख रहा है? Market makers. So Citadel is putting this order कि यार इंडिया में बहुत पागल लोग हैं, दुबई में बहुत पागल लोग हैं, very rich people in Dubai. They come here, they don't even see the price, click on buy. So let us put a slightly worse price here. We know that the current fair price of Bitcoin is 161,7700. Let's put an order here for 61,750. खरीद लेंगे, उनको समझने, उनको फर्क नहीं पड़ रहा. They're like in such a hurry, they're not looking for the best price. They just want to buy. So that is how market makers make money. All of these orders are not exactly equal to the current price of Bitcoin. Who defines the current price of Bitcoin? Again, these algorithms do. Across all exchanges, कितना Bitcoin बिक रहा है, कितने में बिक रहा है, how much Bitcoin is selling for how much, how many quantity of Bitcoin is selling for how much. They add all of those up and then find an average and figure out, अच्छा current price तो ये है. Now they are like, कौन खरीदना चाहता है? अच्छा, Binance पे जो भी खरीदना चाहता है, whoever wants to buy on Binance, here is my best price. And you know, whenever you buy some 2-3 rupees extra, this market maker will make. Binance will also make some money. Binance will for sure make money. It will take some transaction fee. But the market maker will also, make some beach में money, because this, think of it this way, आप जो यहाँ डालोगे ना, they will immediately sell it somewhere else. They will sell you Bitcoin for 2,000 rupees, and they will take 2,000 rupees from you and buy the same Bitcoin for, let's say, 1990, and 10 rupees they'll make in the middle. So they're constantly calculating कि ये order book क्या होनी चाहिए. That is what a market maker is. Smart people running smart algorithms, putting these orders over here कि यार हम इतनी quantity इतने में बेच देंगे, इतनी quantity इतने में बेच देंगे, so on and so forth. Second question was spread. Spread is basically a number that tells you, or it's a quantity for a market. What do I mean by market? जैसे BTC USDT is a market. कि USDT दे दो, BTC ले जाओ. Give us USDT, take away Bitcoin. For this market, the spread is 744 minus 743.99. So like 0.02. Very good spread, very small spread. So whoever wants to buy or sell, they'll get a very good price. But as I said on WazirX, even if it is open today, it might just be. There you go. On WazirX. Okay, so they're not trading anymore. But here is where you would have seen the order book. If you ever went here and saw the order book, the spread was really big. This was a highly illiquid exchange. So that is what I mean by market making and spread. Let's answer a few more questions. There's always a difference in bids and asks. So how does order get executed if there's always a price difference from the current price? Just because the current price is this doesn't mean you will get the same price. This number here says कि आखिरी order कब हुआ था? 2 minutes पहले हुआ होगा. This is what was the price at which the last order happened. This will of course be more than this. This will of course be less than this. You will get this price only. You will get this price only. You will never get this price. If I go to a more slow exchange like Backpack, where not a lot of trading is happening, can you see? बीच में देखो क्या है? 142.19. ऊपर नीचे देखो क्या है? 0.12 here, 0.13 here. Let's look at it again. 13 here, 16 here, 17 here. Can you see 13 is not in the middle of these two? This number is not something इसकी average ले ली. This number is what was the price at which the last trade happened. If you go to trades, what was the price at which last trade happened? 142.24. What is the price of Solana on this exchange? 142.24. Now the book will change a lot after that. और जो current book है, that is how you will get the, get placed against. Just because it says this here doesn't mean you get this price. Can you explain liquidity with some other example? If you try to go to Camellias today, have you heard of Camellias? The most expensive apartments in Gurgaon. If you try to go to Camellias today, no one is willing to sell their flats. तभी तो price इतना बढ़ गया है. They have a bunch of flats in there, but they're all, bought by rich people who don't care, don't even stay in these places. So once in a while a house comes here. But since only once in a while a house comes here, and most people in India don't want to buy, once in a while a buyer will come over here. So what happens is, it's very hard to discover the price of a house here. Multiple people aren't bidding against each other कि हमें यहाँ जाना ही जाना है, हमें बेचना ही बेचना है. People don't care. The order book is highly illiquid. If you look at the order book of Mongolias or Camellias, these are very expensive, 70 CR, 80 CR price. Because no two people are willing to sell, not three people are willing to sell. People don't care. तो जिसको जो मन करता है वो प्राइस डाल देता है because no one else is selling. So this is highly illiquid. It's very hard to tell is the current price 70 CR or 60 CR or 50 CR. And similarly, since not a lot of people want to buy, ये भी कुछ भी बोल देते हैं, I will only give 5 CR. कोई और खरीद ही नहीं रहा. So it's very hard to do price discovery. But if there are multiple people bidding for an asset, कि यार नहीं, I will give you 5 CR, I will give you 6, 7, 8, 5, 9, 10, 11, 12. They keep bidding each other. The order book becomes very healthy, very liquid. Lot of orders here, lot of open orders here. And hence, and let's say a lot of people want to sell also. Then you can truly discover the real price of a flat in Camellias. Why? Because a lot of people are competing against each other in both the sides. If they don't compete only, if there is only single order over here, then उस बंदे पे ना वो कहेगा यार कोई बेच तो रहा है नहीं. No one is selling. I will put an astronomical number here, 100K. लेना लो नहीं लेना मत लो. So liquidity means the more the liquidity means the more number of orders here, the higher quantity over here. जितने ज़्यादा बिक रहे होंगे उतनी ज़्यादा competition होगा, and then price discovery becomes easy. Why do stock market only open for a specific time and difference does it create? I have no idea. Like Web2 stock markets, government wants to make sure nothing crazy happens at night. Traders should get sleep. Yada yada yada. That doesn't happen for this guy. Does 1 inch provide limit orders? Aggregators probably don't. I mean, they might. I don't know. Does Jupiter provide limit orders? I think it does. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, you can just set the slippage to be something and it would probably, honor that. It'll probably not be a limit order. Or, someone might have figured. There you go. They do let you put a limit order. So I would assume 1 inch does as well. Okay, on an exchange, you can put a limit order, and whenever the price reaches close, you can, snipe that asset. All right, few more questions, then we'll move to a decentralized exchange. Are market makers usually also miners? No, very different people usually. On a centralized exchange, no. On a decentralized exchange, yes. On a decentralized exchange, the market makers are usually miners only because they're the ones who have most of the assets. I'll explain more soon. The ask and bids are trading so soon. Is a human doing it or some bot? Of course, it's a bot, right? Some trading algorithm that's constantly running, cancelling orders, constantly putting orders. It's not a human that's, okay, oh, ek bach gaya, let me decrease the price. It won't happen this fast, right? Sol USDC swap in SEX, then somehow to do it in DEX because Sol and USDC are tokens on chain. Our other tokens are on chain. Sol and USDC and other tokens are on chain. Sol USDC swap in SEX, then how someone will it do in DEX? I'm assuming your question is how do you swap from Sol to USDC in DEX? And the answer is USDC is just a token on Solana. Just like we created our own token, this is a token created by a very big company called Circle, and they always honor कि अगर आपके पास 15 USDC है तो हमने आपके 15 USD कहीं रखे हुए हैं. If you have 15 USDC, it means in some bank account 15 USD is waiting for you. You can always redeem this for those 15 USD. They will send you back not 15, like their minimum order is 100K or something like that. But if you have 100K USDC, उनको भेजो, वो आपको USD लौटा देंगे. So this is just a token that's owned by a very big company. It exists on the Solana blockchain. So you can swap from one token to another. We will see how to do that very soon. Difference between USD, USDC and USDT. USD is normal US dollar, you understand. Stored in a bank account, printed by the government. USDC is a tokenized version of it. What does it mean to be a tokenized version of it? As I said, there is a very big company called Circle. They have a lot of bank accounts all around the world and a bunch of assets. And they store this, US dollar over here, and they mint USDC. And people trade with those USDC. Whenever they're done trading, they can always send back USDC here and redeem US dollar. Okay, I see no more questions related to centralized exchanges, so I'll move on. SEX ka data also be on Solana. I guess your question is, can you put the data from centralized exchanges on Solana? And the answer is yes. There's this network called the Pith network, and this is exactly what oracles are, that let you take data from the Web 2 world and put it on the Web 3 world. Pith is one of those networks that does almost exactly what you're asking. Does not understand spread. Explain last time. Spread on this market is 142.14 minus 142.13, 0.01. Wait for some time. Okay, now the spread is 142.10 minus 142.09, still 0.01. अब हो सकता है कल को this becomes very bug. This becomes 144. This becomes 140. Then the spread will become 4. The spread is कितना spread है, कितना फर्क है in the best bid and the best ask. Why is fiat that mentioned while swapping in Binance? What is fiat? Fiat is currencies. Fiat basically means non-crypto assets, basically currencies. INR is fiat. That's why you hear people saying, I want to off-ramp to fiat. It means I want to convert my Solana into INR or US dollars. Alrighty, cool. I think let's do a quick poll, Akash, but I think we're good to go. I answered this, Hitesh, why is markets only open for like some time. Order book, do only maintain order of market makers. No, as a retailer, you can put orders on an order book. It's a bad idea. You won't be able to compete with these guys, but you can always go here, click on limit and place an order. Here, my price is going to be 149, 148. And I have one Solana that I want to buy or sell. And this will get placed on this order book. In the future, you can cancel this as well. All right. 85% understand. That's not great, but let's understand AMMs once, because you don't need to know centralized exchanges to understand the next part. And then, by 9:30, let me try to see where we reach. 9:30, I will do more questions. Okay? From scratch, we are beginning, and forget about any knowledge related to centralized exchanges. The only knowledge you need is there is something called order books there, and that does not work in the real world. That does not work in decentralized exchanges. Why? Because decentralized blockchains are really slow, so you can't really use the order book method there. What is the order book method? Forget for now. What is a decentralized exchange, and more specifically, how does it work under the hood? What did I tell you shuru mein? In the beginning, what did I tell you? I said, when you go to Phantom and try to swap, let me just show you. If I open Phantom over here, click on swap and say I want to sell 0.01 Solana, it says आपको इतना मिल जाएगा. You will get 1.4 US dollars in return, or USDC more technically. What does it say? The provider. What does it say? If I hover over it, the decentralized exchange used to complete your trade. Phantom under the hood uses a decentralized exchange. Tells it कि Harkirat wants to sell इतना Solana, कितना दोगे? And then it returns कि I'm going to sell you this much INR, or sorry, US dollars or USDC. So that is what a decentralized exchange is. Question is, how does it work under the hood? And the answer is, for that you need to understand this jargon on screen. Let's start from the first one right here, which is a liquidity pool. Now this is a fresh jargon introduced in like some 2017, 2018. So this is not something you should know. Stocks, on a day-to-day basis, we deal with stocks. We buy Google stock, Amazon stock. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Or, whatever, Zomato stock. So you understand it's a stock, it creates intuition as to what it is. This is a very fresh term, very recently coined. So, this is supposed to be jarring. Bear with me for the next 20 minutes and let's try to understand 1, 2, and 3 over here. Liquidity pools, constant product algorithm, and automated market makers. Let's kick things off with liquidity pools. In the order book method, there are two types of people, askers and bidders. People who put asks, people who put bids, people who are selling Solana, people who are buying Solana. These are the two types of people on an order book. Bidders are these guys. Askers are these guys. Notice in the end है क्या, इसका मतलब क्या है? What does this mean? It means कि this much Solana is owned by a bunch of people, right? There are a few people who own 21.75 Solana and are willing to sell it for this much. There are a few people who own 37.42 Solana and are willing to sell it for this much. So total, if you add all of these quantities up, itna total Solana is present on the backpack exchange that people are willing to sell. If we go back to the original example, there are 3 houses, if you remember, that people are willing to sell. How much do people want to buy? People want to buy, if you add the sum of all of these, that is how much people want to buy. Or more technically, someone has 136.88 into 5.41. That's like $1,000, slightly less than that, $900. So someone has $900 that they're willing to give to get back 5.41 Solana. This is price per Solana. 136.88 per Solana someone is willing to give. If you multiply it by 5.41, that is $1,000 that someone is willing to give for 5 Solana. So if you add these up, what is happening in the end? There is a bunch of USDC on one side. There is a bunch of Solana on the other side. Someone is willing to sell it at X price. Someone is willing to buy it at Y price. So can we say that there is a pool of USDC? ये arrows गलत है. This arrow should point to 10,000 USDC or whatever, 100,000 USDC. This one should point to this much Solana. What this means is, all of these people that are sitting over here are Solana whales. People who have Solana that they want to sell. Or in the context of a house, these are homemakers or owners of the houses that are willing to sell the houses. And they have, let's say, 30 houses or they have 2,000 Solana to sell. इसको इकट्ठा कर दो यार एक बार. Yes, let's say backpack today comes and says, यार we don't honor your price. We don't honor कि आप किस प्राइस पे बेचना चाहते हो. हम बेचेंगे. आपको कितना बेचना है? How much do you want to sell? And then owner 1 will be like, I want to sell, let's say 3 from here. Owner 2 will be like, इसमें से 10 मेरे हैं. 10 are mine. I want to sell these 10. Backpack is like, okay, we will tell you how much we sell it for. Give us your assets. अपने assets दे दो. हम धीरे धीरे बेच देंगे आपके लिए. ठीक है? That is what a liquidity pool is. That is how a decentralized exchange works. कि you don't get to tell the price. You are not a market maker doing efficient trades now. You are simply saying, क्या मेरे पास 2000 Solana है. I have 2000 Solana. Please sell it for some USDC. जितने में बिक रहा हो दे देना. And there are people on the other side. Here I have 100,000 Solana. Let's say there are thousands of people here. They say, yaar, theek hai, we want to make the market liquid. I repeat, just because there is an order over here that the market maker has placed doesn't mean they want कि यार ये कोई खरीद लेता तो मजा आ जाता यार. If it would have been really nice if someone would have taken my order like this. They are just making the market more liquid. लेता है ठीक है, नहीं लेता है कोई बात नहीं. If someone buys, that is fine. Someone sells, that is fine as well. Most market makers will have an order here also, have an order here also. They will have a lot of cash also. They will have a lot of houses also. They will have a lot of USDC also. They will have a lot of Solana also. And they will be sitting on both the sides. कि अगर खरीदना है Solana, इतने में ले लो. If you want to buy Solana, buy it for this much. If you want to sell Solana, I will buy it from you for this much. They are sitting on both the sides. So market makers are just making the market liquid, market tradable. क्या लोग खेलने दो इनको. Retail wants to trade, let them trade. That is what a market maker is doing, and of course making some incentive in the middle. In a decentralized exchange, market maker wants to do the same thing. Market maker isn't dying. कि यार someone please take my order over here. Market maker is like, I have a lot of assets. I have a lot of Solana. I have a lot of USDC. I want to make some money from it. What should I do? Should I put it in an FD? You can't put Solana in an FD. So what they do is they put it in a pool. क्या हमारे पास मान लो एक ही बंदा है. Let's say there is a single person that has 2,000 Solana and 100,000 USDC. In the Web2 world, he would have put all of these orders on the order book. क्या the first 21 Solana I will sell for this much. The next 37 Solana I will sell for this much. I will keep increasing the price. And if someone is willing to sell, that is fine. I also have a lot of USDC. I am willing to buy 5 at this much, 18 at this much, so on and so forth. That is what a person with so much USDC and so much Solana would do in the Web2 world. Web3 world में क्या करेगा? because Web3 world it's really hard to keep changing the order book. In the Web3 world, he will just put it in a pool. What does it mean to put it in a pool? Put it in a smart contract. वो एक smart contract में डाल देगा, एक program में डाल देगा कि ये लो, this account has 2000 USDC or 100,000 USDC, 2000 Solana. And what will happen then is कि there will be an algorithm called constant product algorithm that will decide कि कितनी quantity पे कितना मिलेगा. There will be an algorithm called the constant product algorithm that will decide कि if someone wants to buy or someone wants to sell, what price do they get? In the Web2 world, it's clearly written over here. But in the Web3 world, since it's very hard to maintain an order book, even though this is the more efficient way where you literally define कि this much quantity for this much price, this much quantity for this much price, this is the more efficient way to do it. You can't do it on blockchains. So here comes the more inefficient way कि अपने सारे सोलाना पे इतना प्राइस मत डालो. Don't tell me कि यार this one I will sell for this much, this one I will sell for this much. Give me all your Solana. I will make it tradable. Whenever it gets traded, I will give you some fees. This is the exchange telling the market maker कि यार अपना सारा दे दो, मुझे प्राइस मत बताओ. I don't want to know what price you want to buy or sell on. Give me all your Solana. Give me all your USDC. I will make it tradable. People will trade on it. I will give you some fees. Whenever people trade on it, I will give you some 1% of the transaction. The algorithm that is used to decide the price is called the constant product algorithm. Let's look at what the constant product algorithm is. In decentralized exchanges, a constant product formula is the pricing algorithm used in automated market makers. Too much jargon here. Like we have to eventually understand what are AMMs. So forget the statement completely. Let's look at the formula. The formula says X into Y equal to K. Very little math. Bear with me. Don't go back to JE days. This is simple stuff. 5 minutes, the math will be over. It says, the formula says, X into Y equal to constant. X is the reserve of token A. Y is the reserve of token B. Can you guess what do they mean when they say reserve? जो ये exchange था, these exchanges, they went to market makers, right? कि यार please give me 2000 Solana. I will make it tradable. Please give me 100,000 USDC. I will make it tradable. 2000 Solana or 2000 is the reserve of token A. 100,000 USDC में 100,000 is the reserve of token B. So 100,000 and 2,000 are the reserves of token A and token B. The constant product algorithm says this into this should always remain constant. Once you have made this liquidity pool, आपने तो बना दिया. Now their product should be constant. If someone wants to take some USDC from it, then they will have to put some Solana in here so that X into Y is still a constant. If someone wants to put some Solana in here and take out USDC, then they will have to make sure कि अगर उन्होंने 10 डाला है, if they put in 10 Sol over here, the amount of USDC they can pull out will be such that the final USDC into the final Solana amount is constant. That is how it is calculated कि price क्या है, what is the price at which the trade will be made. We will see this with examples very soon, and when you see this with examples, you will see how this is a mildly efficient algorithm. कि जैसे जैसे लोग Solana खरीदते जाएंगे, as more and more people buy Solana, let's say there is a bull market and people are like यार 2000 Solana यहाँ पड़ा है, खरीद लेते हैं. People will come over here and say I am willing to take 1,000 Solana from here, let's say. So if they pull out 1,000 Solana, they will have to put up how much US dollars? 100,000 US dollars. They will have to make sure ये double हो जाए. If they are taking 1,000 Solana from here, then they will have to make this number $200,000. तभी तो product same रहेगा. What is the product right now? It is some 200 million, right? Or whatever, 2 million, 200 million, 2 billion. You get the idea. If I take 1,000 Sol from here, I will have to double this amount. If I'm making this half, I will have to double this. X into Y is constant. So if I make this half, then I have to double this. I have to pay 100,000 US dollars. That is how the price is decided. There is no order book. कि पहली 5 Solana you can buy for X. Next 10 Solana you can buy for Y. No. There's a simple algorithm. And this is a fairly efficient algorithm. If there is a lot of buying pressure on Solana, the price of Solana will shoot. If there's a lot of sell pressure on Solana, then the price of Solana will go down. Let's see this with an example. X into Y in this case is whatever this number is, let's say 200 million. Let's say I go over here on Phantom and I say I want to pay 1 Solana and get back some USDC. Ignore the quote over here. ये तो actual price है. We have our own liquidity pool जहाँ पे this and this is present. So I will say I want to give 1 Solana. How much USDC will I get back? So what will be the math that will run on this pool? Pool will be like कि कोई तो आया है. Someone has come that wants to put 1 Solana over here. That wants to take this value up to 2001 Solana. This is a constant product algorithm, which means this value needs to go down by this much. This into this is still 200,000. What does that mean? That means एक सोल डाला तो कितना निकाल पाया? 100,000 the original amount minus what is left here. That is 49.98. So what is the price of Solana that I got? 49.98. Because I wanted to put 1 Solana in the pool, constant product algorithm. The price that I got back was 49.98. Something similar happens here. Here also, let's say it went into a pool, and in that pool, whatever the distribution was, based on that it said कि यार 1 Solana डालोगे तो इतना निकाल पाओगे. If you put in 1 Solana, you can pull out this much USDC. So that is how the constant product algorithm runs. What is the price of Solana that I got? 49.98. Decent price. You would think, अगर तुम इसे देखोगे तो you would think कि यार the price of Solana should be 50. There is $100,000 over here, 2,000 Solana over here. If I divide this by this, what should the price of Solana be? 50. If I try to sell, I should get 50 Solana here. A divided by B is 50. But how much did I get? I only got 49.98. The algorithm that we are running makes sure that if there is a lot of sell pressure on Solana, if a lot of people are selling Solana, I sold Solana, the price of Solana will go down. That is what happens, right? If everyone today sells Google stock will tank. The same thing happened here. You would assume कि अगर यहाँ 2,000 है और यहाँ 100,000 है, if there is 2,000 here and 100,000 here, the price is 50. But what is the price becoming as soon as this trade happens? 49.98. Price goes down. Let's say I want to swap 100 Sol. I'm like, I don't like Solana anymore. Solana is going down really bad. I will put up 100 Solana in this pool. This will go up to 2101. This will have to go down again because A into B needs to be constant. This number went up, so this number will go down. This number will go down to this much. If you subtract those two numbers, you will be able to pull out 4758 USDC. I put 100 Sol, was able to pull out 4758 USDC. What does that tell you? Price कितना हो गया एक सोलाना का? What is the price of 1 Solana now? It is 47.58. What was it a while back? 49.98. So can you see the price of Solana is decreasing? As more and more people sell Solana, this side becomes really wide. This side starts to become thin and the price of Solana goes up. Now, as more and more people want to sell, they will get less and less USDC for their Solana. That is exactly what you would want from a market maker. Kya, if there is buying pressure, price should go up. If there is selling pressure, price should go down. That is exactly what is happening, which is why this is, a good algorithm to follow, because you don't have to constantly change orders. Ek baar dalo, put one order on chain that puts some, USDC over here, Sol over here. After that, trading keeps on happening automatically. On every trade, take some 1%. In market makers को भी तो कुछ incentive मिलना चाहिए. They should have some incentive. They are putting their money in such a risky sort of a smart contract. So every time there is a trade, they also make some money. They make some fees, let's say 1%, that goes back to these market makers. If I put 1,000 Sol here and 50,000 USDC here, then I will get half of these because half of the assets belong to me. So I will get half of the fees from this pool. As Solana gets added to the pool keeps on getting skewed. This side becomes bigger, this side becomes smaller, which makes the price of Solana go. This should be down. Makes the price of Solana go down. As you saw, as more and more Solana gets, if more Solana is coming here, it means the person is selling Solana. There is a lot of sell pressure. People are going to Phantom and saying कि भाई बेचो, market is going down. So of course, if there is selling pressure, the price should go down. That's exactly what's happening. This is wrong. It should say go down over here. Similarly, if people are buying Solana, the price of Solana will go up. This is right. This is what is called automated market making. Okay, you don't need fancy people to make trade all day and algorithms and bots to run. Automated market making. Put all of your assets in a pool. खुद ही trade होते रहेंगे. Based on the supply demand, they will keep on getting traded. It is not as efficient. People will not get the best price as they would have अगर ये order book होती. but still great for a decentralized exchange where people are like, chalo thoda ganda price de do, give me a slightly better price, but I want to do it decentralized. I don't want a government to come and seize my asset. I don't want to put my money on Binance. So I will take a worse price, that is fine, but I want to do it in a decentralized manner. So that is what a automated market maker is. X into Y equal to constant. Let's do an initial poll and see how many of us understood it. This is an example of liquidity pools on one such exchange. So Radium, if you remember, was an exchange. And if you open this, it will clearly show you the total liquidity, the total assets in this sole USDC pair, Solana USDC pair में इतना लोगों ने पैसा डाला हुआ है पिछले 24 घंटे में. In the last 24 hours, this much swap happened. These many assets were swapped. Some people converted Sol to USDC. Some people converted USDC to Sol. So almost $64 million of volume happened, based on which this much fees were generated. Let's say 0.1%, 0.2%. So in the last 24 hours, these people that provided $4 million of liquidity got $12,000. If I was the one who put in all $4 million, I would have made $12,000 in the last day itself. If I put my $4 million in this pool. Very good, right? Very good return. It is 118% APY. मिलता है किसी FD में? नहीं मिलता. There is risk here, of course. We will talk about that risk. But at least for the last 24 hours, fucking beautiful. For the last 24 hours, I just put $4 million here. मैंने 4 लाख रुपए डाले. I put 4 lakh rupees. I got 12,000 rupees in fees. Because people all around the world were trading. लोग तो पागल हैं. People are trading all day. You can make money if you own those assets. As long as you own, let's say, $2 million worth of Solana and $2 million worth of USDC, as long as you can provide $4 million worth of liquidity, you can make this much in 24 hours. Because a lot of people are coming to this website and being like, yaar, mujhe jaldi se bechna hai, let me buy a lot of Solana, prices going up, and pressing the button over here to quickly buy, let's say, 700 Solana. Wow, 700 Solana is worth $100,000 now. At some point, this used to be penny change. Yeah, 700 Solana le liya for $500, and now it's like so expensive. Anyways, you get the idea. If I had, you get why market makers do trading, right? And can you get how fair this is? I don't have to compete with anyone anymore. अगर मेरे पास $4 million है, if I have $4 million, and let's say someone at Citadel, a very big trading company, also has $4 million, doesn't matter. I have also put money here. They can also put money here, and we will both share the rewards. If let's say 2 million of these is my money, 2 million of these is Citadel's money, then I will take $6,000. They will take $6,000 in 24 hours. So here the person who wins is the person who has a lot of capital, which is why a while back someone asked, Harkirat, in a decentralized exchange, are market makers miners? And the answer is yes, because these miners have so much money, they are so bullish, they have so much Ethereum, so much Solana, these native tokens, they are usually the ones that are putting, providing liquidity here. And it's fair game, right? Like, can anyone else give you 118 APY? No. But will it always remain 118 APY? No. As I saw this, I'm like, fuck, there's a lot of money. I can make 100% of my money in 1 year. I will also come and put, let's say, whatever. I don't have, let's say 4 million. I will put whatever, 100K here or 50K, 10K here. Then this reward will come to me also. So this reward APY keeps on going down as more and more people come and provide liquidity, because everyone will see 100% mil raha hai. Everyone will put liquidity here. Then the APY will keep on going down. The rewards will start to get distributed with everyone. Volume thodi change ho jayegi. Volume will remain the same. Same amount of people trading, more amount of liquidity present. So more people will make money. And the APY will go down. Cool. APY stands for, annual percentage, whatever return, which, based on this 24-hour fees, 24 घंटे में इतना कमा लिया. If everything goes the same for a year, you will make another $4 million on top of your $4 million if the trading volume is the same on this exchange. So it might be like, infinite money glitch, but there is one very big problem here, which we will talk about. But let's do a poll first. Do we understand all the decentralized exchange jargon? 80% is not bad, I would say. Was hoping for a little bit more. Let me think. There's more jargon to go through. We'll take a 5-minute break. I'll answer some questions. Then we'll go through all of this jargon. I don't know if you'll be able to code, but the code for today, if you already understand all of this, the code for today is here. Well, there are two things. As I said, there's a lot of not alpha here, but like, how does Backpack make money? Very clearly the Jupyter request that goes out, and the BPS over here, 85. If you go to Backpack and try to swap, let me, small experiment here. If you go here and try to swap anything, let's say I want to swap 0.001 Sol for some USDC, then if you hover over this, it will say quote includes 0.85% Backpack fees. So yeah, Backpack also eats 0.85% here, but you can actually capture this request and make it 0. And if you make it 0, you will not pay that 0.85%. You might think it is a bug, and it sort of is a bug, but at the same time, if someone is smart enough to figure out the network request, they will anyways not swap here. They will swap directly on the exchange. They will directly go here and swap. So that is why it is fine. This is a front end number. I hope some of you get this. I can actually capture this request and change this to 0. How much fees does Backpack make? If I change this to 0, I will get a much better price here on the swap. That's the only alpha for today. Like, feel free to explore this. And this is how Backpack. The code for this is open source. So if you want to read through the swap code, you will see a bunch of Jupyter calls only. We'll try to build the same thing today. And these are some extra things that we'll get to. Let's answer some Q&A for 5 minutes. Then I'll take you through this jargon, and then we'll see if we can code today. But as I said, the code is present on github.com/100xdevs cohort 3/week 9 swap contract. So let me paste this in chat. If you want to just look at the code for today, it will show you. Well, there's an assignment also. This is just a basic version of a swap. A few more things you can do is create your own liquidity pools. I did that a while back. There is a Kira coin liquidity pool here. So if you ever want to buy a Kira coins, create your own coin, sell it. It's none of these. There's a KIR coin. It's not showing up here, but I can find it if you want. A few days ago from here only, I created a KIR token. So how can you put a token here for sale? That's how most meme coins are created. Is a bunch of good assignments. I'll formalize them and put them out. But let me now answer some questions. So if someone provides, I checked the tip link wallet after NP package, but I didn't copy. Window Messenger was GPT's idea. Hope you know the level of GPT 3.5. That sounds good. All right. If the market maker owns the asset, then how traders are selling or buying it? Aren't assets supposed to be owned by me if I am buying or selling? Good question. Market maker owns the asset until someone comes and takes it from them. अब किसी ने खरीद लिया तो market maker no longer owns that asset. They own the opposite asset. If a market maker has 100 Solana and a market maker has 1,000, whatever, 100,000 USDC, and they put an order on an order book, someone took that order, then yes, their Solana amount will go down because they sold their Solana and they made some USDC in return. Now what they usually do is they try to remain neutral. So they will make sure on some other exchange, someplace else in an OTC, they convert this back to 1.1 Solana, so that their net Solana position, they are almost net the same on both the sides, and also have 0.1 Solana more. But yes, for a while, if someone takes their order, they don't own that asset anymore. Ouchie. They own the opposite asset. Explain AMM once, like how market maker become automated. Market maker did not become automated. Market making became automated. Big difference. Market maker. Who is market maker? Citadel, Jump. Big companies that pay a lot of money. They do market making. What is market making? Putting orders on, the bid and the ask side. They do market making on all of these exchanges. Market making is a tedious task. They have to run an algorithm all day, figure out kya bids honi chahiye, kya asks honi chahiye. This is not automated market making. This is for a centralized exchange. But what is true for a decentralized exchange? For a decentralized exchange, market maker might still be Citadel or Jump, बट दे आरंट कॉन्स्टेंटली मार्केट मेकिंग. उन्होंने एक बार पैसा पूल में डाल दिया, दे पुट वट एवर एसेट्स दे हैड इन अ पूल, सम USDC, सम सोलाना, लेट्स से, एंड दैट इज डन. दे हैव स्लेप्ट नाउ. अब भाई बैलेंस हो रहा है खुद पूल. यू नो, पीपल आर बाइंग एंड सेलिंग, प्राइस इज गोइंग अप एंड डाउन, दे डोंट केयर, दे आर मेकिंग फीस. सो दिस इज automated market making because they don't have to put in extra efforts every day to make the market. They don't have to run these algorithms. It's all automatically running itself. That is what automated market making means over here. The constant K is calculated based off of, as in who decides the constant? Great question. That is a beautiful question. मेरे को भी ये होता था, constant decide कैसे होता है? So, yeah, this is where, you know, you need to be a smart person. The way it works is, I am a whale who has, you know, let's say 100,000 USDC and 100 soul, ठीक है, और 1000 soul, ठीक है. तो मोटा मोटा देखा जाए तो I have 100,000 USDC, 1000 soul. If I put them in a pool right now, मैं जल्दी से डाल देता हूँ उनको पूल में कि यार पैसा कमाएंगे, वी विल मेक अ लॉट ऑफ मनी, लेट्स पुट द 100,000 USDC हियर and let's put the, you know, whatever 1000 soul here. What do you think will happen? If I have 100,000 USDC, 1000 soul, I do no math. I decide, no reason to find the constant. I just put this money randomly here. What does the constant become? It becomes something like this. What do you think will happen? लोग आ जाएंगे इसको बैलेंस करने. The real price of Solana is what? The real price of Solana is, as you saw a while back, it is today $135.5. यहाँ पे कितने में मिल रहा है? यहाँ पे तो 100 में ही मिल रहा है. Over here, someone can come and put in, let's say, 20,000 USDC. And they will be able to pull out, let's say, you know, I'm giving hypothetically, do the math later on, but you know, they'll be able to pull out, let's say, amongst the 1000 soul, 300 soul. तो उनका net price क्या हुआ? उनका net price हुआ, or let's say 200 soul. This is not the right math, but you know, since this pool isn't balanced right now, what do I mean when I say the pool isn't balanced? ये बहुत important है. Let me start from the top. I am a whale. I have this much Solana and this much USDC. I say, here I am going to make the market. There is 100% APY that is coming. So I put this and this in a pool. Very similar to what is happening here. Let's say I am the liquidity provider. I put equal amounts, like $2 million, or you know, let's say this is a bad example, but यहाँ पे 1000 Sol and 100,000 USDC. If you look at it, what is the price of Solana here? Mota, this divided by this, 100. It will not be that if someone comes and, you know, let's say they will have to put 101 Solana USDC here because the pool will imbalance a bit. अगर आप इसको थोड़ा सा छोटा करोगे तो इन्हें इसको थोड़ा सा बड़ा करना पड़ेगा. तो if they want to pull out one Solana, they will not be giving exactly $100. They will be giving $101. But that is a great deal because on a different exchange, the price of Solana is 135. उनको यहाँ 100 USDC में Solana मिल गया, तो they will quickly come and buy a lot of Solana from here because the price of Solana here is really less. It needs to go up. So they will start to buy Solana. There will be a lot of buying pressure on Solana on this market. They will buy Solana for 100 USDC, go to Binance, sell it for 135, then do it again. Now the pool has changed a bit. So अगली बार they will have to give 102 USDC. And then they will get one Solana. That is still great. Then अगली बार they will have to give 103 Solana. Slowly the price will go up. But eventually it will reach 135. Eventually the pool will balance. But if this product is chosen incorrectly, then, you know, arbiters, who are arbiters, people who are, what is arbiters? Or, you know, arbitrage. Arbitrage is the price of asset is different in different exchanges. You buy it from one side, sell it on the other side. That is exactly what someone would do if you choose this product incorrectly. So what should you do? अगर तुम्हारे पास इतना USDC इतना soul है, what should you do? You should only put, you know, whatever 700 soul here, so that whoever is willing to buy will have to pay 135 only. The product should be decided by you based on कि यार प्राइस क्या चल रहा है सोलाना का, what is the price of Solana in different places, and if it is 135 तो ठीक है, put 100,000 USDC, but don't put 1000 Sol here because your pool is imbalanced. Then the real world price and price on your mini liquidity pool, your mini automated market maker is very different. So people will come and quickly balance it. You will end up having what is called impermanent loss. In your case, that will be permanent only, but this, well, not necessarily true. It will still be impermanent loss, but there is this term that I'll explain a little bit right now called impermanent loss. That is a very risky thing in case of a decentralized exchange, and that is exactly what will happen to you if you are not deciding the constant correctly. What should the constant be? This 700,000, because if you have this much USDC multiplied by 700, total becomes this much, and this is a great amount because the real world price of Solana is also 135. Cool. Great. We'll understand impermanent loss very soon, and that's how you decide the price of the asset. Now, अगर तुम्हारा नया ही token है, if you have a fresh token, then you have no idea, right? कि what is the price? Price needs to be discovered. तो वहाँ पे you can put something random like whatever you think is the current price of, should be the current price of Kirath token. Or let's say I create a 100x token. All the people who bought the course will get the 100x token. Everyone will get 200 devs token or 100x token. So there I will go to a liquidity pool and put it, since I am the person who can mint these tokens, I will mint a lot of these tokens, put them in one side, and on the other side, let's say I put these many USDC, Kirath and USDC. So now here I just put it out there. अब इसके बाद depend करेगा what you guys think the right price is. Some of the people will be like, अरे Kirath released a coin, they will buy, price will go up. You guys that had the course be like, अरे free का coin मिल गया, we got 200 USDC for free. You will start to sell your tokens over here to get back USDC. So then the price will actually be discovered. The first exchange that lists a coin is the exchange जहाँ पे price discovery होती है. अब यहाँ डिस्कवरी हो गई तो बाकी एक्सचेंजेस, अनदर पर्सन क्रिएट्स अ लिक्विडिटी पूल, दे विल मेक श्योर दे हैव इट एट द सेम proportion. All right. Third jargon was automated market makers. Yeah, so hopefully this same example that I gave a while back, which is, this is not automated market making. If you go to Binance, you see this order book is changing so constantly. There is so much effort in market making. There is so much effort in putting things on the order book. What is automated market making? What is happening here? कि यार यहाँ पे $4 million डाल दिए और छोड़ दिए. I put in 100 SOL or 1000 SOL or 10,000 SOL and $2 million. I am not constantly looking at the price. Price is being discovered itself. That is automated market making. Pool is changing itself, automatically. So that's why automated market making. Let's quickly go through some simpler jargon. So at least we finish the jargon and maybe a little bit the code I will explain. The jargon for today is, the last jargon, which is much simpler, is these 5 things which are very simple. So let's quickly finish this up and then I will take more doubts. If you did not understand the last part, I'm here, not going anywhere. We'll answer after this section ends. Very small section. पहला है भाई markets. Sol USDC is the Sol USDC market. यहाँ पे आप सोलाना देके USDC खींच सकते हो. Sol USDT is the USDT market. यहाँ पे आप सोलाना देके USDT खींच सकते हो. You can give USDT, pull out Solana. Harkirat, what is the difference between USDC and USDT? Someone asked this a while back. They are just different organizations. One of them is called Tether. One of them is called Circle. That mint these. ये भी अपने reserves रखते हैं, ये भी अपने reserves करते हैं. Think of them as competitors. Just like WazirX competed with CoinDCX, USDC competes with USDT. Different organizations trying to do the same thing. Mint a stable coin. Again, another Sol USDC pool. ये शायद different pool है. बड़ा होगा, छोटा होगा. It will have more liquidity, less liquidity. Might be owned by different organization. You can have multiple pools for the same market. This is the Sol USDC pool on this market, which has higher liquidity. Let's say this is another Sol liquidity USDC pool that has lower liquidity. Sol MSol pool. Harkiat, what is MSol? Don't worry about. Think of it like a token only. Something extra वैसे, but think of it like a token. Another Sol USDC market, Sol USDT market. So there are various markets. Sometimes the same market only, but they have different pools. If you look over here, this is the Sol USDC market that has liquidity of $3 million. This is another one that only has liquidity of $1,600. तो यहाँ पे ज़्यादा orders place ही नहीं हुए. Most of the orders went here. The more the liquidity, the better the price. ये चीज़ मैं बतानी भूल गया. Important, very important. The more the liquidity, the better the price for your traders, for your end users. If I create a pool which has only 100 USDC and let's say 2 Solana, and then I create another pool which has 100,000 USDC and 2,000 Solana, नीचे वाला pool is much better than this one. यहाँ पे if I want to pull out 1 Solana, how much will I have to pay? Can you guess? What is constant product? 100 into 2 equal to 200. If I want to make this 1, then how much have to increase this by 2? So how much will I have to pay? 100 USDC. What is the price of Solana over here? If I put in 100 USDC, I can pull out 1 Solana. Versus over here, if I put in 100 USD, no, if I want to pull out 1 Solana, how much money do I have to put? It will be very close to 20 USDC, some 20.1 USDC or something like that. करना इसकी math later on. Do the math later. Even though it might feel कि हरकीरत they are the same. 100 to 100,000, 2,000. They should be equally liquid, but they are not. इसमें liquidity is very low. इसमें liquidity is very high. The more the assets in the pool, the better the price. If someone wants to buy Solana, will they give 100 USDC for 1 Solana? Or will they give 20 USDC for 1 Solana? Of course, they will trade in this pool, right? This pool has a much better price based on the constant product algorithm. That is why, even though there are multiple pools over here for Sol USDC, the fees that is generated is much better for this guy. And if you want to deposit into this pool, you can also deposit into this. You can become a market maker yourself if you have, Solana and USDC. So, you would want to choose this one because volume सबसे ज़्यादा यहाँ पे होगी. The volume isn't proportionate. इसमें 4 million है, 64 million volume, 1.6 million. It's not half. It's lesser than that, right? Sort of seems proportional only, but it won't be proportional. Okay, most people would prefer this because the best price will be available here. So, hopefully that is clear. Okay, you can have multiple markets, and in each one of these markets, multiple markets can be the same also. Sol USDC, Sol USDC, Sol USDC. The most liquid market is what people would prefer to trade on. Swap. What does swapping mean? Okay, converting from one asset to the other. We saw that on Phantom. You can also do that directly on here. If you go to radium.io, where we were seeing all of these liquidity pools, you can directly go here and be like, okay, I want to swap 1 Solana for USDC. And that is what swapping means. Hopefully that is, pretty straightforward. The next one is super important. Quote. Markets we understand. Hopefully swap we understand. Quote and slippage are sort of important. Dekho, whenever you are trying to trade, doesn't matter where. Could be on Zerodha, could be over here, could be on Binance. Whatever number you put over here, कि यार मेरे को 10 USDC देने हैं, you get back a quote. What does a quote mean? कि हम आपको quote कर रहे हैं, आपको इतना पैसा मिल जाएगा. You get back a quote. But it doesn't mean कि अगर आप submit दबा दोगे, if you press submit, it doesn't mean you will get the same amount. You might get slightly lesser. You might get 0.69, let's say. And that is what is called slippage. Can you guess why? Why is it कि quote तो कुछ आया, यहाँ पे it was clearly telling me कि if I put in 10 USDC, it will give me back 0.714. But I only got back 0.69 Sol. What changed? The answer is slippage. Over here, I said कि I am okay with 0.5% slippage. अगर आपने मुझे 0.71 दिखाया है, if you showed me 0.71 here, even if it falls by 0.5%, place the order, it is fine. I am okay with it. Even if you showed me the wrong number here and you give me something that's 0.5% less, that is my slippage tolerance. I can tolerate कि अगर price इतना move कर गया तब तक, it's fine. Have you guys heard of MEV? This is the biggest reason of maximal extractable value. If you've heard of MEV bots, flash bots, this is one very big downside of decentralized exchanges. And this slippage number, you should, at least if you're placing a very big order, should be very comfortable. One person made this 100%. I have 100% slippage tolerance. He was trading $1.6 million. He got back 0. When he was on the UI, he selected 100 over here. I have 100% slippage tolerance. He said, I want to sell Ethereum. I have, let's say, 1000 Ethereum. He got back a quote of $1.6 million. He clicked on submit and he got back only $3. वो पैसा कहाँ चला गया? That is exactly where MEV comes into the picture. Either make the slippage really small. If you make this big, you will be, if you make this 100%, then most probably you will lose all of your money. Harkeet, how did the price slip so much by then? That is where, MEV comes into the picture. Someone front runs your transaction. Happy to discuss later on. But hopefully we understand what is slippage and slippage tolerance. Slippage is something that will happen. Slippage tolerance is कि तुम कितना tolerate कर सकते हो भाई. So if you have a very big amount, a very big order that you're placing, make this really small. इसमें होगा ये कि a lot of times your order will not go through. पहली बार it won't go through. Second time it won't go through because the price will move by a lot. When you are on this screen, you get back a quote, but the market might move, right? उसके बाद price might go up, price might go down. तो slippage means कि यार ठीक है, थोड़ा बहुत अगर ऊपर नीचे हो गया, it's fine. If it goes down by a bit, it's fine. I'll happily get 0.069. Slippage tolerance is that number. Okay, how much are you willing to tolerate? Now, if you're selling $1 million worth of Solana, make this number really small. So, इसमें होगा क्या कि first time the order might not go through because the price moved by a lot. Second time it might not go through. Third time it will go through. If it's a small number, then have whatever slippage tolerance you want. Slippage refers to the difference between the expected price of a trade and the actual price at which the trade is executed. This was the expected price, 0.714. If I click on submit over here and I get back 0.69, then the difference is my slippage. It occurs due to, can you guess why would it occur? Market volatility, right? अगर मैंने जब यहाँ था, the price of Solana was X. By the time I clicked on submit, the price of Solana changed. The market is volatile. I will get a little bit lesser. That is fine. I have 0.5% slippage tolerance. Of course, it will not go down by 0.5% in 10 seconds that I took to press this submit button. Order size. If you place a huge order, you will move the pool by a lot. Then also there will be a lot of slippage. Market conditions. अगर trading बहुत ज़्यादा तेज हो रही है, there's a lot of fast trading or there isn't enough liquidity. In this case also what will happen? You got back a quote. By the time you submitted, price went up. So your transaction will fail. Slippage can be positive or negative. Positive, हाँ तुम्हें ज़्यादा भी मिल सकता है भाई. Just because the quote here says 0.714, you might get 0.724 because the market moved down by then. Solana became cheaper. So, there can be a positive slippage, there can be a negative slippage. You have a cap on कि भाई इससे कम नहीं होनी चाहिए. It shouldn't be less than 0.5%. If I get less than what you're quoting here, 0.5% से ज़्यादा drop नहीं होना चाहिए. It shouldn't be, the drop shouldn't be more than 0.5%. Cool. All right. These are popular DEXs on Solana. You can always see who is doing how much volume, and this is biggest money making machine. These guys also make money, like Orca, Meteora, Radium. They also take some fees. Liquidity providers also make money. So it's not like the org is the only one that's making money here. If you have a lot of Solana, feel free to put it in a pool. You will also start to make money. These are the DEXs. They have these automated market maker books. They have the smart contract that creates this liquidity pool, has the constant product algorithm. Jupiter is a DEX aggregator. Can you guess what that means? A DEX aggregator is a platform or protocol that sources liquidity from multiple decentralized exchanges. आपको swap करना है, यहाँ आके कर लो यार. We will look for all the pools that exist in every decentralized exchange, give you the best price. That is what Jupiter lets you do. It is a DEX aggregator. It is not a DEX itself. This is what most Telegram bots, most wallets use to do swapping. If you ever do a swap in Phantom, you're actually going via Jupiter to find, for example, in this case, Liquidity and Meteora, which are the two DEXs you are using in this specific trade. You might put half of the order on one DEX, other half on the other DEX also, right? मान लो you have a very big order, then you don't want to place it on a single liquidity pool. You will move that pool by a lot. Price बहुत कम हो जाएगा. तो you can also Jupiter lets you find multiple routes also. कि यार आप थोड़ा order यहाँ place कर दो in DEX 1, थोड़ा order यहाँ place कर दो on DEX 2, you will get the best price. So Jupiter does that. Wallets only use their APIs. So, very similar to how we'll use today. Basically, it's not very difficult to add this liquidity widget in your wallet or build something like BonkBot where you're letting people trade, because under the hood, you are just using the APIs of Jupiter, Orca, Meteor, or whatever. This is the backpack swap screen. If you have the backpack wallet, open the network tab, you will see it sends out a request whenever you are here and let's say put 1 Solana here. It sends out a request to jupiter.xnfts.dev/v6/swap. Now this URL, even though it is owned by a backpack, under the hood is proxying a request to a Jupiter URL. So this request actually is going to Jupiter only. It's just going proxied through a backpack server. Why would you want to proxy this to a backpack server? Ideally, because you want to hide this from the user. In this specific request, you will see the payload has our platform fees is 85 bips, which means 0.85%. So you proxying it is a great idea. If you put this number in your backend, if you override this number in your backend, that probably happens. I did not make this 0. Try making it 0. And if you can make it 0, I wouldn't call this a bug bounty if I'm being honest. Yeah, probably not. And I think, in this specific backend server, they might be overriding it as well. I could be wrong. But yeah, that's one of the reasons you might want to not send it directly from here. Because then they will capture this request and tweak the parameters a bit, reduce your platform fee. What is platform fee? The money that Backpack makes in this case. Or if you're on Phantom, the money that Phantom makes. Or if you're on a Telegram bot, the money that the Telegram bot makes. So try this out. Try changing this and try to do a swap and see did 0.85% go to Backpack or not. Very beautiful thing. The good thing about this is you can always track how much money is Backpack making, how much money is Phantom making. You can literally find their wallet where this 85% or 0.85% went, and you can see how much trading volume are they doing every day. Based on that, you can calculate how much money are they making. Same is true for any other DEX, right? You can go to Meteora and see how much volume they're doing. Based on that, you will know how much money they're making. So, find that number. And you can pretty much figure out. This is for a wallet, this is one of the only ways to make money, swap fees. So, you'll be able to figure out how much is the platform making, how healthy the, revenue is from this specific source. Two things I haven't really covered. DLMMs, CLMMs, which I think were introduced in ETH, I could be wrong, but are now the popular way to do swaps. Let's see if we can find some of these routes that said, as you can see, it says Meteora DLMM. So just like the constant product algorithm finds a way to find a price, you multiply both the sides, that decides the price. Similarly, there are more efficient ways to find the price. The constant product algorithm is not the most efficient when it comes to price tracking. Okay, of course, if the pool is really healthy, if the pool has a lot of Solana and a lot of USDC, then it's fine. Even if big people come, the price won't move by a lot. But there are better algorithms that were discovered eventually. The one that Uniswap uses in V3, and the one that most of these exchanges will now. They have AMMs also, or whatever, constant product AMMs also. They have DLMMs and CMMs also. Whatever gives you the best price is what you get matched with. And most of the times you will see you get matched with, I think it's called concentrated liquidity market makers, and I don't know what D is here, probably decentralized, could be wrong, liquidity market makers. And these are 2 blog posts around it, but I'll probably do a video. In the impermanent loss, though, let me explain only a little bit. I think I did a while back, but let me do it again. Before that, how's it going? These are just extras, we can get to them. Can we try to code this ourselves? I did not take you through the backpack code, but let me show you. Very soon we'll be writing some code ourselves, but this is the same code that Backpack writes. Backpack under the hood sends a request to Jupiter. What was Jupiter? Jupiter was a DEX aggregator. So Backpack, when you're on the screen, you're sending a request here to get back the quote. Then you're sending the request here to actually swap the asset. So if you look at where in the Backpack code Jupiter base URL is used, you will see it is used once here in this fetch quote Solana function, which as the name suggests is fetching the quote. कि यार कितना प्राइस मिलेगा फॉर अ स्पेसिफिक एसेट, फॉर if I want to convert from this to this for this much amount, if I want to convert from this mint on this blockchain to this mint on this blockchain, what are we doing under the hood? We are asking Jupiter कि भाई तुम्हारे पास होगा ना प्राइस, you are a DEX aggregator, please give me the best price so that I can show it to the user here. ये जो प्राइस आपको दिख रहा है 138.55, this isn't phantom creating its own liquidity pools. It is simply sending a request to the Jupiter base URL /quote to get back. Quote का मतलब क्या है? How much price are you quoting? क्या प्राइस होगा इस swap का? And similarly, when you actually press the swap button over here, then you just send out the request to this one right here to swap the asset. And since this is a wallet, it can actually sign the transaction on your behalf, so that whenever the swap happens, money gets debited from your account, or whatever Solana gets debited in this case, USDC gets credited. Do we understand this? Let's do a quick poll. Did we understand how most companies, Telegram bots are a big market? Last week, so there's one student of ours that sort of works in one of these. He started from 2K, currently makes 100K in less than 3 months. And there's this other company that was hiring, and they said, "Hum kitna bhi de denge." There's this big guy who's getting into this market. I was trying to connect them. He didn't leave, and they were also not paying this much. They were like, "Yeah, मैंने उसको 200K बोल दिया." Basically, this is a big market, paying market, and as you can see, it's not too difficult. Of course, there are a lot of challenges that come when you try to build it yourself. DEXs can be unreliable when it comes to their APIs. Solana has a lot of not downtime from time to time, but you have to do a lot of gas price optimization. You have to optimize slippage for meme coins to make sure that the order goes through. Then these are the challenges that you're working on after a point. If you're working on an application like this, be like a Telegram bot, but build a great one. And then there is one referral that I do have already. If you can show proof of work here, build a nice Telegram bot that lets you create a wallet, on ramp some crypto in there, and lets you swap. Easiest version though is this. You hit Jupiter, but of course the easiest version is too easy. Try something more. How can you do better price discovery? How can you figure out the best slippage? How can you find out the best gas price that the user should pay? Things like these, and try to build it. All right, can we try to write something similar? जो backpack करता है. What does backpack do? Two things, or phantom do. Number one, gets you a quote. Number two, lets you swap. Can we write something similar? We already saw the code for it. 2 HTTP requests we have to send. So this is, you can go through these docs and write it yourselves also. And it's not a lot of code. Well, I've changed this a little bit. Let me take you through the docs first. Then I'll take you through my code, which is slightly cleaner to read. And then, I'll tell the assignment, which is, do the same thing, but on a website. Today, we'll do it using, again, a CLI wallet, or, a Node.js in-memory wallet. But the assignment is, create a website where a user can come and swap. Similar assignment is, create a TG bot like Bonk bot, where user can come and swap. Use Jup APIs under the hood, or do something better over here, basically. So, let's go through this code really quickly. What does it do? It has a bunch of imports. Now, I've removed some of these imports from my code. I'm not using this cross fetch library. I'm using Axios. You can get rid of this wallet also that comes from Anchor. You can use the key pair object. And base 58 we have seen in the past. It lets you convert from base 58 to bytes, bytes to base 58. I create a new connection object. Yahan pe we will put our own, RPC URL. Then we create a in-memory wallet. I do not do new key pair. I do new wallet. You can paste your private key over here. So yahan pe you can paste your private key, and you will get a wallet object, which is very similar to the key pair object we have seen until now. Then you send the first request. Here I want to convert Solana. What is input mint? What asset do I want to convert? What is output mint? What do I want to convert it into? Let's see what this is. This is the address of USDC. So I want to convert my Solana over to USDC. This is the amount of Solana I want to convert. This is in Lamports. So this is like 0.01 Solana or something like that. and the slippage is 0.5%. These are the inputs that I give. This gives me a quote response. कि यार आपका ये रहा आपका quote. For 0.01 SOL, I will give you $1.36, let's say. And then I send another request to swap. क्या ठीक है, I am okay with this quote. I am going to send a request to swap with the quote response. कि जो मैंने आपसे पहले quote मांगा था ना वो ठीक है. I am ready, good for that price. Please execute the order. And this is my public key. And he ignored this. This is a default parameter which is anyway set to true. This is what I send to Jupyter, and they return me a transaction object. ये थोड़ा अब complicated होगा. They return you basically a bunch of bytes where they create the transaction for you. This part will be a little low. Let me explain this, via diagrams. This is Jupyter backend server. यहाँ पे you are sending request, give me the quote. If I want to, on the SOL USDC market, I want to sell 100 SOL. What is it doing? It is checking, let's say, a liquidity pool. Whereas the Jupyter is actually hitting, what is actually happening is Jupyter is, calling another contract on Meteora and trying to figure out the price, whatever. But let's say they have their own liquidity pools. They figure out कि अच्छा यार current price based on this pool, the current price would be $100 per SOL. You get back a quote. That's the first request you send out. Then the second request you send out is, okay, ठीक है, I want to do this transaction. Please return me the transaction object. ये part थोड़ा confusing है. You tell it, I am okay with this response that you gave me. It gave you back some quote response. You tell the backend server, you gave me this a while back. I am okay with this response. Execute this order. Now you can't execute this order unless I sign it, right? I can't send an order to the Jupyter backend and it will be like, हाँ ठीक है, let me debit money from you. I have to sign a transaction and send it on the blockchain. This is the Solana blockchain. What the Jupyter backend server can do is it can create the transaction object for me. कि अच्छा, Harkiyat will pay 10 SOL and get back 100,000 USDC from Meteora pool. It will create this transaction object and send it to me. I will sign this transaction and submit it on the Solana blockchain. This is the flow of events that happen. Okay, first, you ask for a quote. It returns you the quote. Then you tell it, please, I'm okay with the quote. Please create a transaction object for me. It returns you the transaction object. You sign that transaction object. Okay, I am okay with debiting Solana from my account. Then you submit it on the blockchain. In case of Phantom, since Phantom already has your private key, it can sign the transaction on your behalf and submit it on the blockchain. In case of the code that we're writing today, we will have to sign it using this wallet object. So as you can see, when I send a fetch request, an Axios request, I get back a transaction. Then this const swap transaction buffer equal to buffer.from this thing base64 converts this transaction object from base64 into bytes. These bytes I deserialize into a transaction object. Harkiyat, what is a transaction object and how is it different from version transaction? Do you remember when we were doing sends, when we were sending Solana, we were writing something like this: const transaction equal to new transaction dot add, and then we were adding instructions over here, system program dot send, something like this. Do you remember this? We were creating a transaction object ourselves. We were putting the instructions inside ourselves. Now what is happening is Jupyter is creating a very complicated transaction for us. We are simply parsing it and converting it into a transaction object. Very similar to this transaction object. Version transactions are something that came eventually, just slightly different from legacy transactions. But think of this version transaction the same as this transaction object right here. And then what do you have to do? You have to sign it using your private key, and then you have to submit it on the blockchain. Connection.send raw transaction, this thing. connection.confirm transaction, whatever that, transaction signature is. That's it. That's how you do it on the backend. Of course, if you want to do the same thing using Phantom, you will have to use the wallet adapter, the thing that we've been learning from a few weeks, and create a website out of it. Hopefully that is straightforward. Let's try to see the code that I wrote, which is like fairly similar. Bunch of imports at the top. I used Axios instead of the library that they were using. Create a connection object. Create a wallet object. Yahan pe I pasted my private key. This is my mainnet private key, so I'm not pasting it again. But a while back I tried this code. It worked. I can show you the swap as well very soon. What did I say? Sabse pehle to I said, yaar, I want to get back a quote for converting Solana into USDC for this much amount with this much slippage. I got back a response. Then I said, now this might feel a little complicated of a syntax to some, but this is the same as const response equal to this thing, and const this thing equal to dot data dot. There you go. I send another request to swap. Yeah, this was the quote response that I get. I'm okay with this quote. I'm going to send a request to actually swap it. I get back the swap transaction in base 64, converted into bytes, converted into the transaction object, sign the transaction, get the latest block hash. If you remember, we discussed this like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago basically, okay, whenever you're submitting a transaction on the blockchain, you have to submit it with the latest block hash. In Solana, a transaction expires after some time. The reason that happens is because of this latest block hash. It checks, whenever you're signing the transaction, you have to sign it with some latest block ka hash. It is a blockchain. Take the latest block, take its hash and put it in the transaction so that, the blockchain knows you recently submitted this transaction. Ye jo block hash hai, this is a recent block hash. Then you can also do transaction.send over here, or you can serialize the transaction and then submit it via connection.send raw transaction. This is the transaction. Try it more than up to two times, and then we wait for it to confirm. We log it. I tried this a while back. Let's see if I have the logs. I don't have the logs, but I can show you the exact transaction. If you look at my Phantom, I took the private key and pasted it in the code. If you look at my recent transactions, I think it was this one only. This. What time was this? Yeah, 7:01 p.m. right before the class. I converted some SOL to USDC. How did I do it? I took the private key from here, settings, account, show private key, and copied it, pasted the private key in this code right here, and then just ran the script that converted whatever 0.1 Solana into 1.34 USDC. That is the code for today. It's already on GitHub. Let me know how did you understand it. Let's do another last poll and then I'll just answer questions. It's already 10 p.m. But there's the same code you can use to create anything. If you want to create, for example, one of the projects that we were supposed to build was a CLI based wallet. So if you're creating a CLI based wallet, you can add swaps to it by using this. Basically, all of the projects here should be very simple now. Client-side wallet in JS we have done. Supporting transfers we have done. Transactions and swaps. Today we learned swaps. How can you create a client-side wallet in JavaScript where you support swaps? We still haven't discussed transactions. Basically, we still haven't discussed how can you show something like this in your wallet or your web-based wallet. But at least this tab we were able to learn today. Token launch program we've already done. Created a cloud wallet in Node.js, which is also fairly simple, and BonkBot. BonkBot also, the biggest thing there will be this. How do you let users swap? So this and this, these two can be built based on the knowledge from today. And that's it on Solana. Now we have to learn the same thing on Ethereum next. But hopefully that was straightforward. And that was all for Solana. Next week onwards, we will get into Solidity and Ethereum. I will probably have another offline video on impermanent loss and maybe writing some code, doing the assignment, something like that. All right. We did not do any polls. Oh, there we go. That's the poll right here. 80%. I'm assuming the number is so low for the code, so I can take you through the code again, or if there is some other specific question, let me know. Or if you want me to take you through the code again, if you want me to show you the code running again, paste my private key, I can do it. Let me know what you want. Chat is open. All right. Code. A lot of people said code. All right. Code explain. Let's start to run the code. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put my private key over here. What is it called? Private key. So let me stop sharing just for a second and paste my private key here for this wallet. Settings, manage accounts, accounts, show private key. You thought I forgot? I did not. Oh, there we go. All right, let me take it to the other screen here. Let me do that one more time. Export my private key. Copy it, and then I'm going to paste it over here in my .env file. Again, I'm not showing that on screen. That way you guys can't see the private key, but it is already present in this .env file. If you're already part of the web dev cohort, you probably understand what I'm doing next. npm install .env, and at the top of the file I'm going to do require .env.config. What this will do is it will take my private key from here and put it over here. So if you don't understand all of this, the only thing I've done is, rather than pasting my private key over here so that you all can see it, I put it inside this file so that you guys can't see the private key, but it is still present here. It gets picked from here and gets put over here from the environment variable. We have discussed this in the web dev cohort 2 weeks ago. You should go there if you did not understand this. All right, let's understand the code. Let's log things one by one. Let's comment everything and just understand the first request, which is the quote request and the quote response. Iske liye to I don't have to go here also. Let me copy this, paste it here, and it simply returns me, Kirat, if you want to convert Solana to USDC for 0.1 Sol, you are going to get back, whatever, out amount this much, 1.4 USDC. So if you want to convert 0.1 Solana, you will get back 1.4 USDC. That is what this specific, quote response gives. Now, if I keep sending it again, it will keep giving me as the price is changing. Now it is telling me 1.4402939. If I send it again, it'll probably be the same thing only. As you can see, 1.443421. Thoda sa bad gaya, better price I'm getting. So this is the quote response. This is our routing plan. We will send you through, this specific decentralized exchange called Cropper. This is its automated market maker key. कि ये वाला ऑटोमेटेड मार्केट मेकर है वहाँ पे हम आपका सोलाना कन्वर्ट करेंगे इनटू USDC. दिस मच अमाउंट विल गेट कन्वर्टेड टू दिस गाय. जुपिटर गेव मी कि यार ये रहा आपका राउट जहाँ के थ्रू हम ट्रांजैक्शन भेजने वाले. दिस इज द राउट दैट वी आर गोइंग टू टेक. सेम थिंग हैपन्स ऑन फैंटम. व्हेन आई गो टू फैंटम, when I open Phantom here and go to swap, put some number here 0.1, it sends a request to the same thing, and as you can see, it got back whatever 14.2. If I send 0.01, it got back 1.43. Did I get back something similar only here? As you can see, something similar I got, right? If I put 0.01, what do I get back? 1.430877. What did this guy give me? 1.4315. So, get the idea. This guy is also sending that request. That's the first request. What is the second request? Second request is कि एक बार quote आ गया. to create the transaction object. That is the second request. That is what happens from here to here. We send a post request now. कि यार ये कोड आया था. I am okay with this code and this is my public key. Create a transaction object for me. कि यार मैं locally भी बना सकता हूँ कि अच्छा what is the AMM key? ये रही AMM key. Okay, const transaction equal to new transaction. And then ठीक है, let me, what is the decentralized exchange? Cropper. So let me get the Cropper SDK first. Then I will do cropper.swap. And यहाँ पे I will put whatever के AMM key ये रही and in price ये रहा and out price ये रहा. I can create this transaction myself, but I will have to know कितने exchanges है. There are thousands of decentralized exchanges, let's say in the future. I will have to bring all of their SDKs locally. Isn't it better कि Jupyter handles this? क्या ये transaction object, rather than me creating it, Jupyter will create it on their server. They will just convert it into base 64, return it to me. What is a transaction object? A bunch of bytes in the end. Eventually we will see when we create our own smart contracts or programs, you will see what inputs go to a program. वहाँ पे you will see you always serialize into bytes, you can always deserialize back from bytes. So this will return you a transaction object that you can, as you can see over here, convert into bytes by calling buffer.from swap transaction. This HTTP endpoint returned me a base 64 string. I converted that base 64 string into bytes. I took those bytes and created a transaction object. तो जो transaction object मैं बनाने की कोशिश कर रहा था, here I created that transaction object from Jupyter. कि Jupyter तू बना के दे दे मुझे Cropper का transaction object. I will just use it. Then I sign the transaction. Then this part is just me sending that transaction to the blockchain. Now they have done it in a very weird way, which is why I have done the same. But you can always do a whatever transaction or connection dot send, some transaction dot serialize, something like this. If it is easier, there are like easier ways to do this. Here we have done everything. Okay, we have first serialized this transaction into again raw bytes, and then those bytes are what we send in as an input over here. Send raw transaction. What is the input over here? The input is a uint8 array, a bunch of bytes. And then we call connection dot confirm transaction. We await on it. कि यार जब तक transaction हो नहीं जाती तब तक we will wait here. Whenever it is done, we will log this on the screen कि ये लो ये रही आपकी transaction. Check it on the blockchain. That's what this specific file does. Let's see, does it work? Now I've put my private key here, so hopefully it works. As long as I remove this, yeah, most probably this will work. As you can see, this was the first response. This is the final transaction that is created. And if we wait for a bit, you will see, the exact transaction signature hash, and we can just track it on chain. What is happening under the hood? Under the hood, ये जो मेरा wallet है, this wallet of mine is swapping an asset. The same thing that would happen when I click on submit here is now happening from the CLI. If I look at the transactions, it hasn't happened yet, but if I wait for a while, it may or may not happen. I mean, I'm using the public mainnet beta URL, so it may not happen also. I can retry after a while. But these are the things that I was talking about. Okay, if you create a BonkBot-like application, your goal is how can you immediately do these transactions? As you can see, this transaction is taking such a long time. Most probably because I'm not on the right RPC. So you will have to get your own RPC servers, make sure they're really fast and very close to the blockchain. This will most probably fail. So let me try that one more time. But yeah, that's pretty much it. And yeah, the same thing happens as, as I showed you a while back, when the swap happens, we'll wait for it to finish. And if it doesn't finish, I just have to replace the RPC URL over here. I'm pretty sure it will work after that. One of you can just paste your RPC URLs and I can just replace it and we can go from there. Will Jupyter help us find the best exchange price on different DEX platform? Yes, it is a DEX aggregator. That is its use case. Okay, it will help you find the best DEX for that specific swap. Again, during live class, come across important questions and ask you, but after our class, we don't have ability to see our question. Please give issue a minute to help attendees see what they asked during class. Oh, I answered the question without repeating the question. So people don't understand what was the question. So I will try to repeat the question and then answer it. That's a good point. There are multiple Sol USDC and Sol USDT pools. What if I purchase 100 Sol with USDT? How it will affect the price of Sol in the USDT pool? Great question. There you go. Transaction failed. Yeah, if one of you can just send me a RPC URL, then I can just replace it. Sorry, the question was, yeah. Amazing question someone asked. Okay. If this specific, what do you think happens? The same thing happens, the thing that you think happens. If this is the Sol USDC pool, and let's say there's a different Sol USDT pool, whatever the pool distribution is here, let's say, something like this and something like this. Let's say the current price of Solana here is 133.3. If I put 0.1, if I want to buy 0.1 Solana, very small amount that doesn't change the pool a bit, then this is the price I will pay, 0.1 into 133. And let's say the price here is also very similar, 133.32, let's say. Now, someone came here, a whale came here and ended up, let's say, taking out all this, buying a lot of Solana. So what will happen? Only 200 Solana will be present here and the whale paid a lot of money. The price went up to 200. If the whale is an idiot, what they will do is they will not slowly send transactions and, not break the price immediately. But a dumb whale might do this. कि वो एक सस्ते से liquidity pool पे आए that doesn't have a lot of liquidity and says I want to buy a lot of Solana. Solana is going up. Ends up buying everything. The price per Solana goes up really high in this pool. But इस pool में तो अभी भी 133 है. So what will happen? Someone will come and arbitrate the price between both of them. They will buy a lot of Solana from here so that this goes up to 135, let's say, and sell a lot of Solana over here so that this pehle goes down to 140, then 139, and then 138, and then eventually balance out. And the arbitrator will make a lot of money here. The same is true for, let's say, there is Binance here, and there is whatever Coinbase here. All of these are exchanges which have different prices for the same asset. So, as long as you can make some money in the middle by arbitrating, you make money. For example, if I go to Solana and, see the price on Binance of Solana is 144.31. On Coinbase exchange is 144.03. On Bybit is 144.07. Prices are different. I can actually buy from one, sell to the other one. But it won't be profitable because, the fees will kill me because 1% I have to pay to Binance here when I sell. 1% I have to pay to Bybit here when I buy. So unless there's a big difference in the price, there's no point. But the way you mentioned it, if a whale comes and, changes the price of it drastically, then arbitrators will come and start to, arbitrate the price of this through various exchanges. That is what will happen. All right. Can you do I don't know if Jupiter, it really depends on if people have pools on testnet and devnet. So yeah, I don't think they do, which is why I had to do it with real money. The code for today is here. 100x devs cohort 3 / or you'll find it here basically. There you go. How do they provide transaction UI like wallets? Do they show how then? I'm assuming your question is how can you show something like this? Yeah, this is where transaction parsing comes into the picture. Solana will give you a method called get latest transactions on any public key, which is easy. It will give you a bunch of transactions, what smart contract was called, what was the instruction that was sent. But parsing it is crazy. Like parsing every transaction, figuring out कि अच्छा this transaction means कि I swapped 14.04 for 0.1 Solana on Jupiter. Figuring that out is the difficult bit. Transaction parsing is really hard. For example, I didn't do any transactions after that. It is still showing me 3 transactions, right? कि कुछ तो हुआ है. Someone might have sent me some dummy meme coin or whatever. Even Phantom can't correctly tell that these are, bad transactions or, I didn't do these. These are some random transactions. Someone might have interacted with my address. it just shows me as plus 0.0001 sol. So all of these are like, transactions Phantom shouldn't really show, or parse them better. Okay, this is a spam transaction. It is not able to right now. This is like a very hard problem, parsing every transaction and figuring out कि उस transaction में exactly हुआ क्या था. That is where transaction parsing comes into the picture. How is DEX works and what is the main reason for it? Oh boy, I think you need to go back to the beginning of the class for answering like both of these questions. Will Jupyter help us? Yeah, answer that. Notion log. What is slide? I don't know what that means. Are we not doing NFTs? We probably should. Yes, you're not wrong. We will do like some NFT standard like Metaplex. Yeah, we should probably do that. You're not wrong. I think it's mentioned in the slide as well. There's one thing that's left right now, which is, we can do like Candy Machine, like the basic NFT minting, like a launch pad or something like that. Sure. Akash, note that down. Let's create a video on, NFTs. Alrighty, a few Notion docs. Is MEV present on Solana? Yes. So Solana has this thing called Jito. There is no mempool, but you can still, I don't know how that happens. Jito is, one popular protocol on Solana that does MEV. Here we're building a project for a hackathon with the following idea. Users can create a personalized quiz by selecting topics. Set number of questions. See your detailed feedback. So what does this do? And which hackathon? It's like such a common template now. Like I've seen this stuff because I review a lot of projects, but like this specific template is like super common now. You said you create a bunch of how is this a Web3 project? Oh, this is like a normal hackathon. Okay. Test not found. Yeah, sorry, the backend seems down. You weren't wrong, but like you took a beautiful template and made it like really not so beautiful. What's up with the font here? No padding, things like these. And I'm just nitpicking here. It's not working for me. 10 questions. Loading. What a nice loader. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, you should fix the UI a bit. Everything else looks fine. Let's see how the final screen is. Yeah, something is up here. It's all right, like pretty decent. CLI tool to spin up Turbo with React Next Express. Oh boy, why is it called Super Turbo? Create Super Turbo. Yeah, it's like one of Next has like Turbo has like bunch of these examples. Like the Tailwind kitchen sink, or but yeah, this is also pretty good. It has, I'm assuming, like a backend ShatCN. That's something that doesn't come. Tan stack query. Oh boy, very cool. React router and Nexus as well. Yeah, only React. Let's see. Oh, it's Nexus also there. Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is a good tool. People are very finicky trying to use random CLIs, which is why I won't. But if you can make it popular, it's pretty cool. How Sex wallet address working under the hood? Do Sex create key pair for every user, or it's a common address that matches the address of the user's account? Sex or centralized exchange wallet management is very not very complicated. It looks something like this. You should go to my Zerodha video. The video where I explained about how these guys got hacked. I explained this there a little bit, but basically every user gets a deposit address. Every user that's on your platform gets a deposit address where they can send whatever ETH SOL, or let's say SOL, in this case, which gets sweeped to a fat wallet, which has most of their funds. $100 million, let's say. This is the thing that got hacked for DEX. And whenever you withdraw, money, usually from here, the fat wallet, there's another wallet which has, 5% of your funds. Surprisingly, this did not get hacked. Their withdrawal wallet still had like some 400K in it. From time to time, you take money from the fat wallet and put it here, and this is from where the withdrawals happen. So if someone wants to come to your exchange and withdraw money, they withdraw it from this wallet. So majorly, every user gets their own deposit wallet or a deposit address, which is a wallet that, Binance has the private key for. You will send Solana over here. From time to time, it will sweep this Solana over to a fat wallet. And this fat wallet is, basically the main wallet of these guys. From here, you send money to this withdrawal wallet from time to time. Make sure it has, some 5-10% of your funds at all times, which is what users use for withdrawals. That's how, private key management happens in centralized exchanges. All right. Oh, sorry, you had another question. Let's say I added one sol to my SEX address. Where does INR one sol go? And from where does Solana one sol to my SEX wallet? Yeah. Where does the INR? So everything is a bunch of order books. Let me just show you CoinDCX. That will make your life a little bit easier. Fuck. Why am I in Dubai? Or like, why is this? I'm not logged in. Let's see if I can show you the markets. Yeah, there you go. So in the end, every centralized exchange is a bunch of such markets. Now, for India or specifically INR, this is the main, INR USDT market. Jahan se, people convert INR to USDT, USDT to INR. Once you figure out that conversion, then, from USDT, you can buy anything from, let's say, the ETH USDT market, you can buy Ethereum. From whatever, BTC USDT market, you can buy Bitcoin, so on and so forth. So the way your money gets converted to INR is, again, you are getting INR from someone and giving them, whatever, Bitcoin or Ethereum. So everything is a swap. Everything is basically P2P swaps. It's just a very pretty UI that hides all of this behind it. Tumhare paas 1 sol aaye, so you got back 14,000 rupees. You got that from a person that you paid 14,000 rupees. Most of the times that person was a market maker providing liquidity on that exchange. That person was someone who was sitting on this, whatever INR USDT market that you saw. This one right here. Cool. That was a good question. All at DEX, the fight is only between market makers. What do you mean fight? Yeah, I mean, I think you mean, who is pricing each other down and up, and the answer there is yes, it's market makers. If all market players are putting their assets and money into a pool and the same algorithm is being used, how does one win or lose? It's based on volumes, right? If I put $1 million in a pool and someone else put 100K, then I will take 90% of the swap fees. They will take 10% of the swap fees. So the price of SOL or any other token is because market maker algorithm itself. Is there any role of retail? It is, right? If a retail comes and everyone starts to buy GameStop, then this order book will start to move up very quickly and the price of GameStop will start to go up. But, the market maker algorithms will very quickly realize that there's a lot of buying pressure on GameStop, which is why the stock of GameStop is going up. And, they will price this in, they will make sure they're, upping the order book very quickly. So, retail is the one that's deciding the price. Who else is? Whoever is taking the volume is the person deciding, is there more demand or is there more supply? But the market makers are the ones running algorithms and figuring out, based on this demand supply, I should place my order here. I should keep my bid over here, ask over here. So there is the role of retail, and retail sort of is what is touching. But again, there's a difference between retail and let's say governments. If a government comes and starts to buy Bitcoin, then of course the price will shoot up by a lot, right? So everyone participates in making the price up or down. If tomorrow you buy one stock of Zomato, you did put some buying pressure. You did pump up the price by a little bit. But of course that becomes only substantial when you see it, when your volume is a lot. All right. I think I answered this one. This one. E-course learning platform. Pretty good, decent UI. Oh, 3. Like I think now should be strategy. Okay, let's finish it up really quickly. It's like really slow. We're going really slow. Shouldn't take you more than 2 weeks to like finish everything. 8 minutes are skipped after this thing is possible. You can try start recording your local system. So the chances of video being skipped is extremely less. Oh, is that so? Okay, I will keep that in mind. I tried accessing the intranet using npx server. Folder file management. Someone's laptop didn't work, even though all the devices connected to the same Wi-Fi. So am I missing something? How did you figure out? Oh, were you going on localhost on his? Did you figure out your public IP or whatever private IP? Were you going to your private IP? Are you sure that is your private IP? After I ran npx server machine, it downloads some files. So those are required on different laptop or no, they are not required. That is not no. You most probably did not put the right IP address or your whatever npx serve. Did you put this in your friend's address 192.168 whatever you see over here :3000? If I open this on my phone, I will see it. I did not put anything extra on my phone, right? So most probably either you have a very restrictive Wi-Fi or you're doing something wrong. Since the speed of cohort 3 is very slow in web 2, should I follow cohort 2 recordings or focus on cohort 3? Yeah, just if you want, just go to 2 recordings. Basically go really fast, right? We're going slow to make sure everyone is included, but if you feel it is slow, then you should definitely go to cohort 2 and start to sprint. Whatever we're going to cover in the next 10 weeks, you can cover in 3 weeks from cohort 2 and then start to whatever, contribute, build projects, whatever you want to do. So don't wait. Okay, what will do, then I will do. All right. Oh, very cool. Nice. Good notion, doc. You should maintain things like these. All right. I like that. Picture in picture is very cool. What else did you do? Let's see. Oh, there's only 3. I thought each one of these was a PR. I was still pretty good. CMS authentication model support. Yeah, it's like not very high priority. It's great, but does it really change anything? Not really. This is good. What's the first one? Command K implementation. Daily code already has one, but it never. I think it's broken for a while now. Let's see. Oh, class is done, by the way. Feel free to drop off if you are bored or whatever. Oh, we don't have command key. Oh, there you go. Yeah, but it is working. Never mind. Why does this have? Oh, it's like the other search then probably. Yeah, it's fine. Sorry, what were we discussing? This one's done. This one's done. This one's done. It's a tough choice. And the answer is very nuanced based on yourself. I would try to avoid it if there's a bond, but as long as you're upskilling, if you get like a 1 lakh a month job eventually, pay back whatever they want. Your training fee only they'll take. No, just pay them back. There's no downside. Yes, it's very hard to survive in Noida for 15K. You'll probably be unprofitable for a while. All right. Recently worked on use PDF. That's cool. So talking to a PDF is probably not a game changer when it comes to talking to an HR, because it's the simplest tutorial project to understand whatever RAG or whatever you might be doing here. Most probably, I'm assuming it's a combination of RAG and GPT APIs, which is like not super impressive. And yeah, something. So chat with the PDF is like the to-do list of whatever Gen AI. So yeah, probably not super impressive. All right, guys. That's I think all the Notion docs. I decreased my speaker volume every time sex topic came. What does that mean? Did I become very excited or what? Cool guys, that's all I had for today. Web3 May next week. Let's get into few more, Ethereum, and then we can go from there. Will you make video on Launchpad with metadata? Token Launchpad with metadata. Do we not already have this? Oh, token Launchpad with metadata. Yes, we should. Aryan, Akash, take a note. What does it mean to say some person bought crypto in a country and sold in another country and made profit? Arbitrage trading. Probably. That doesn't sound like arbitrage trading, but I mean, sure. Yeah, there is an arbitrage that they're closing. Maybe you call it, maybe, I don't know. I would call it off. I don't know. Import export. I don't know if that's called arbitrage trading. Arbitrage trading would probably be, computers running algorithms and arbitrating between. This is sort of an arbitrage only that you're closing. So may or may not be. I don't know the answer. Front-end video course web app using library. Front-end video on course web app using library. Front-end video. Are you saying you want me to make a video on course selling website that we did last week? Probably you mean that. Let's do it in React. We can do it using DOM also, which was, the expectation from the last week course selling website, but you will never use it. But if still needed, let us know in Discord and, I can create it. Can you check my project Blink Easy, which I submitted for the 100x Devs hackathon? Ooh, UI is nice. A lot of people made this. Submitted in that Blinkathon that's happening. You might win like $1,000. But it was like so plain and so simple. So yeah, I mean, like, in the end, this is like nothing, right? You're just creating a JSON out of all of this, which is fine. But like felt like a very simple project, so I did not like give it. I'm not downloading whatever that is. Can you give me insights on? Can you send me like a cloud link for this? Creating high frequency trading bots for. So I knew this trader who did this for a living. One, you need to be rich. You need to have, enough liquidity on all these assets. You need to have enough exposure to BTC, SOL, and, it going up and down to be able to do this. Because, you have to buy sometimes, you have to sell sometimes. That's sort of the counterparty risk that you take whenever you're trying to trade. And number two, he was really, really smart. And by smart, I mean, he was understood C very well, was one of the contributors to Bun. Bun is written in Zig. Most of his code was now migrating to Zig. Understood cloud. I don't know if he did or if his team did. He had like 3 full-time people who were just always dealing with exchanges and, answering doubts because they would get banned because they were trading so much. So it's like, here is the insight, which is, number one, you need to be really good at C. I forgot the website that he always won like $50 on, which was a website that would, there was a puzzle and very simple puzzle, but whoever wrote the code that would be the most optimal, fastest on some machine won, and he used to like win every contest there. Where did I put it? I don't think it's in my reading list. This was back in Japan. But long story short, start off by writing, low latency code. This is true for centralized exchanges. I don't know how it happens on decentralized exchanges and how people do arbitrating there. Oh, cool. Alrighty. Cool, guys. Oh, I wasn't sharing my screen. But yeah, long story short, wasn't doing much. I was answering a few questions. With that, we will end it. I will see you guys in the next one. I will do the project. We'll do like offline videos or like online videos on the project. So don't worry about it. Alright, cool, guys. Bye-bye. Have a good night. I will take like 2 more docs that I see, and then I will call it. Doc 1 and Doc 2. Binance, DEX, and CoinDesk are centralized exchanges. Does that mean under the hood they are decentralized exchanges because they hold a private key that user funds? They are not decentralized exchanges. They have decentralized wallets, yes, which hold funds, yes. But they are not decentralized exchanges. That's the wrong term. But they are. Let me share my screen for people who want to see what's on screen. These are the questions. So they're not decentralized exchanges, but yes, they do hold your cryptocurrency in a wallet. So they have private key management. If exchanges are like DEXs under the hood, because of private key, what happens if they get hacked? Wouldn't all the fund? That's exactly what happened in WazirX, right? That's exactly what happened. They are not like a DEX. They are not swapping assets on DEXs or anything like that. But yes, they hold your private key. If they get hacked, you're screwed. Why do people trust centralized exchanges? If it is highly valuable. That's why you shouldn't trust. That's exactly why you shouldn't trust a centralized exchange and not keep your money, not your keys, not your crypto. If single private key compromise can lead to all this, doesn't that make sex riskier than DEX? It is more riskier than DEX. But the risk with owning your own keys is what if you forget your keys? So it's pros and cons. What safeguards do centralized exchanges have in place to protect private key? There are like a bunch of things, like a whole different topic. Private key management in centralized exchanges is a whole different topic. There are a few terms I'm going to throw at you now. MPC is something, multi-party communication. Beautiful protocol. There's a video on YouTube you should look at to understand what it does. And there are some trading companies like Jump Only that has written an implementation of MPC in Rust. That is what a few exchanges use. And even, private key management is not just for a centralized exchange. It's for assets from time to time. Multi-sig is another thing you can use for doing the same thing. That's what WazirX used. But MPC is sort of becoming the gold standard for exchanges right now. If there is a high risk to one private key, why don't people choose resale exchanges? Because they're hard, right? If I tell my mother to go to Jupiter, she'll be like, oh, that's really far. Oh God, that's so good. She understands, oh, INR, I pay Paytm, वो भी हो जाए बहुत बड़ी बात है. So because it's like very hard UX. That is why you don't do this. Oh God, I'm going to laugh all day on this one. Good one, Arkirat. Hello, Arkirat bro. How does SPL wallet works? How does this website work? What is this? Oh, this is basically what happens is, let's say I have USDC. How much USDC do I have? 15. Let's say it becomes 0. Then, my ATA is still there. My associated token account is still there. I can pull out money from there. Same is true for NFTs. From time to time, these are glum NFTs, for example. I don't need Radium concert. Someone sent it to me for free. So I can burn it. When I burn it, can you see I can make some money? I can rebate some money because this NFT was stored on chain somewhere. It had some money in there. If I'm burning it, I can take back that money. So the reason you got back Sol was because you had some dummy accounts like these. For example, if I open over here and try to, let's say claim my soul. Claim my soul. That's so funny. Share with your friends. How do I claim it? Oh, see, as you can see, accounts to close. What is it telling you? कि अभी आपके पास कोई account नहीं है जो हम close कर सकते हैं. But let's say if I got, this NFT that, and I don't burn it, I take its quantity down to 0, let's say. Then or if let's see if it happens. It may or may not happen. Let me transfer all my USDC to a different wallet. Let me transfer all my USDC to, let's say, account 5 over here. Now I can close my USDC associated token account, right? My USDC associated token account has quantity set to 0. So अगर बंद भी हो जाएगा, so I can get back some Solana. Let's try this one more time. See if that changed anything. Can you see? Suddenly it says total Sol to claim is this much. Accounts to close is 1. Because that USDC account of mine has 0 quantity now. So I can close that account. That associated token account makes no sense to be there. This is a great fucking project idea to build. Such a beautiful idea. You'll understand so much. You'll have to first look at, and look at this viral loop bhi hai. Okay, if I send someone this, then I will start to receive 20% of what they make. Passive income, whatever. It's not a lot of money, but this is like, if someone trades a lot, then they'll probably be able to pull out whatever, 1 Sol here, because there are a lot of these dummy accounts that are present. So yeah, that's the TLDR of what this does. What is the point of being decentralized? Big companies are pumping and dumping and hence manipulating markets, whatever it is. And the bigger thing is you can own your crypto, right? If you are NHNI, if you don't want to be tied down to the government, want to move from one place to the other, yet have assets, you can't have gold. Government will stop you on the airport. But if you have a private key in your head, you can, go to any part of the world. Project called Lava, some tokens on Cosmos blockchain. The amount tokens are $40 for while $7. What is that? Oh, that specific Uniswap pool might not have a lot of liquidity. You might have lost a bunch of money in gas. I'm assuming your question, so I can't read much now. It's been a few hours, but I'm assuming you put in $40 in one token and got back $7 by the end of it as you bridged from one. You lose a lot of money. How does Sol Telegram bots then alert users that a new token is launched to work? Also show if there's a certain token is a rug pull or not. How does that work? I have no idea how they decide if it's a rug pull or not. Probably based on, initial patterns of liquidity. How is liquidity initially provided? Does it feel like a pump and dump? That's probably how they figure out if it's a rug pull. What's the other question? How do they know if a token is launched? Yeah, whoever launches a token will provide it liquidity, create a liquidity pool for it. So, you can listen on to any add liquidity pool transaction that happens on, let's say Radium. So that way, you can basically start to listen on the blockchain. Every block you start to squander, and every block you see, is there a new token created? Was token program.create called? Or was, whatever, Radium program.create liquidity pool called? And if it was, that means a new token has been created. Figuring out if it's a pump or dump is probably, some logical guess that people are making through some algorithm. You said maintaining order book on a blockchain is not feasible, but there are a bunch of projects. As I said, Serum is also a project that does this. Sui has a on-chain order book project that raised $60K US. It's from a friend of mine that's building it. I'm not saying you can't build it. I'm saying there's no PMF. People don't maintain liquidity very well there, and that's why, the best price you will get most probably in a DLM, MM or a CLMM or in an AMM. Rarely will you be connected, to a decentralized order book. That doesn't mean you can't build decentralized order books. People build it. There is a lot of money when Solana was, initially a thing. Serum was like a kiddie project of Solana. Kiddie as in, bacha project tha. Serum is going to be our biggest project. Because Solana ka initial pitch was कि we are really fast, we'll build, Nasdaq on chain. This was a perfect project for it. Your YouTube video where you said we shouldn't pursue Web3 as one of our company. Smart contract is written wrong. The money is put in the account, locked forever. I did not say that. Someone else said that. I was justifying that is wrong. You can have mutable contracts as well or upgradable contracts. Yeah, so you can deploy on DevNet and testnet, but what if there is a bug? There are bugs in Web2 code bases from time to time that you can fix, that you figure out after you've deployed to production, right? So yes, you can test on DevNet, but what if you miss a bug and by the time you've deployed, you can't redeploy? So on Solana, you can redeploy. Solana programs are upgradable by default. On Ethereum also, there's a thing called upgradability that lets you upgrade contracts if need be. All right. Cool. That's all I had. Oh boy, long class. But hope you guys had fun, and we will see you next week where we will learn. We'll just dive into Ethereum next week. So I'll see you there. All right. Have a good night, folks. Bye bye.